This was the scene just moments ago.
Blessings you have given us. We thank you for the love and support that has been given to the Aggie family. We thank you for the family, friends, and loved ones that have been able to safely assemble here today. Thank you for the relationships that have forever been changed. We ask you to watch over us today and to bring strength to our fellow Aggies still not safely out of harm's way. Please ensure the events of the past 8 days are forever imprinted on the hearts and minds of all, so that we all remember the importance of our fellow man. Please join me now for a moment of silence so that we can each personally reflect on the events of the past week.
A game day at Kyle Field is unmatched in college football. Today, their compassion, their respect, and their sensitivity illustrates the class of those who made up this fine institution.
Great Harvest Bread has over 100 stores connected across the country.
There's no other way to grow your business besides talking to other people.
Like thousands of businesses today, Great Harvest store owners use the internet and Microsoft software to share knowledge and make better decisions.
So now we can compare stores versus stores. My suppliers know that I constantly look at prices. So they're less apt to raise prices because they know that I know what I know.
Welcome to FedEx. This is Judy Price. I'd be glad to help you track your package. Right now it's safe, it's sound, and it's on its way to Boston. Another package? The weather's a little iffy in London, but it should arrive on schedule. Yes, 6 packages at
ship on that car.
an hour and 15 minutes. Roosevelt Road first thing in the morning. Another package?
Same car.
She's going for a record. No delays in Cedar Rapids. Is that it, sir?
Happy holiday!
You have a nice holiday, too.
We could have thought of this years ago.
Got an important package? Send it FedEx and be absolutely sure.
Now where are we going?
Husker power!
Sounds like Nebraska, Colorado.
Eric Crouch and the Huskers are in the national title hunt.
Sale now through Sunday. Save up to 40% throughout the store. This weekend only at Today's Man. Suit up and save.
This time of year seems like you just can't win. The shopping, the traffic, the weather. It's like this endless game. Good thing there's the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event because everyone wins. You can get huge cash back or low APR financing or great smart lease offers on these great Chevrolets. The cars and trucks you can depend on. So, don't roll the dice this holiday season. Get to the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's your turn to win.
Eternity for Men. Calvin Klein. Body Traditions. An $81 value, yours for $55 at Macy's.
Sale now through Sunday. Save up to 40% throughout the store. This weekend only at Today's Man. Suit up and save.
Scott Clark with sports. ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Nearing game time now. Chip Tarkington is on the field today, and he is with the president of Texas A&M, Dr. Ray Bowen.
Thanks, Tim. Dr. Bowen, can you summarize the last 8 days here at Texas A&M?
Well, it's been a disaster of really unspeakable proportion. We've lost 12 of our young men and women and injured on the bonfire, fatalities. And 27 of our young people were injured. Fortunately, 25 of them are with their families now. They're out of the hospital. We have 2 still in the hospital, and we're all remembering them in our prayers, along with the families of all the other students that were injured and the ones that we lost.
From all of us at ABC and all those fans across the country, let me pass along our condolences to you, this university, and especially to those families who lost loved ones. I think one thing that has rang true is from all the families this week we've noticed that if those 12 could be here today, they would say, let the bonfire burn, let life go on, and let the game begin. And the game will begin shortly. We're going to take a pause. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Boyne. We're going to take a pause and come back live to College Station, Texas. It's Texas against Texas A&M live on ABC Sports.
I'm Steve Kirby. These are my mountains. I test emissions for Ford Motor Company. We're up here in the Rockies testing Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury sport utility vehicles. We're really concerned about the environment. Every SUV we sell this year is going to be low emissions. These vehicles average 35% less smog-forming emissions than the government requires. 35%. That's really amazing. The government doesn't make us do this. We're doing this for my mountains. Better ideas driven by you.
Right now, it's Sears Thanksgiving Weekend Sale. The Craftsman Gift Set, just $49.99. 17 pieces, all Craftsman exclusives. And guaranteed to help with that, some assembly required. Give the good life at a great price, guaranteed.
11 blue flag warriors stand on the brink of battle and ask themselves, where is the other team?
Moving on a Sunday afternoon.
Nothing helps you kick back at the end of the day like Tostitos chips and salsa.
I can't imagine it.
We do suggest you actually wait till the end of the day.
He's a fine dancer, too.
Dig in, kick back with new Hint of Lime Tostitos.
Kumbaya.
So, Jimmy, who's the best Super Bowl team ever?
Well, Rebecca, football is a complicated sport most women don't understand. But I'd have to say Dallas and their gloomy day defense.
You mean Doomsday Defense?
Then there's the Pittsburgh Satin Curtain.
No, Steel Curtain.
Whatever. At least we both drink Miller Lite because it tastes great, right?
Well, actually, I like it because it's less filling, but it's nice to drink with such a football expert.
You know, I was a guard for the Packers.
Jimmy, you were parking lot security.
Taste the true Pilsner.
Are you looking down my shirt?
Now, get the biggest enlistment bonus the Army has ever offered. As much as $20,000. Plus up to $50,000 to pay for college. For your future, for your country's future. Call today. 1-800-USA-ARMY.
Almost every year of this great rivalry, at least one of these two teams is ranked, and oftentimes both clubs are ranked. Texas comes in with a record of 9-2, ranked number 6 in the country. Texas A&M 7-3 and ranked 20th. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brand along with Dean Blevins. Glad to have you along. And Dean, I understand that there is a story developing as we speak.
That's right, Tim. It's as if we needed more drama to this game. A major, literally, story developing. Major Applewhite, the expected Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year out of Texas, the quarterback, will not start this game. It's unknown how much he will play. He's come down with a stomach virus. He's been pumped full of fluids. And so what that does is it gives way to the much ballyhooed true freshman Chris Sims, his first test. Here's a guy who was a lefty. He's the son of Phil Sims, the former NFL star, the #1 player in America recruited last year. He was excited and confident in the locker room a few minutes ago. The big things I have to ask, though, or the questions have been, one for him so far is, are you going to transfer? When are you going to transfer? Well, the second question now is, are you ready to play? And we'll have the answer to that later in the ballgame. Let's go back down to the field and Chip Tarkington.
Well, guys, the Texas A&M sideline is like caged lions. They are ready to go. There is so much emotion, and all of a sudden here, this big crowd of 85,000 is ready to play football. I think this will be a great diversion as to what's taking place. Let's go back upstairs.
Texas A&M has won the toss, and the Aggies deferred. So Texas will receive the opening kickoff. There's a look at Shane Leckler. He'll be kicking off for Texas A&M. Victor Ike and Hodges Mitchell are deep for the Longhorns, and we're underway. It's Mitchell who watches it go through the end zone for a touchback. So they'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where we'll start. It is electric at Kyle Field this afternoon, as one would expect. And there's a look at number 8, Chris Sims, the young freshman who will get his first start here today. Major Applewhite as Dean Blevins said, is sick to the stomach and not 100%. So Chris Sims, the true freshman, 6'5", 210-pounder, and the son of the great Phil Sims, is now your quarterback for the Longhorns. First down, first pass. It's complete, and a gain of 2. Take a look at the Chili starting lineups. For the offense, a big offensive line, and it is the biggest in team's history. As a matter of fact, Leonard Davis is the biggest offensive lineman in the country, 6'6", 367 pounds. Davis and Reisler combined are 12 feet 11 inches tall, 682 pounds. The skilled people, Cavell, he's a good one. Nunez and Jones. In the backfield, it is Sims, who starts along with Hodges Mitchell and Ricky Brown. Second down, and call it 9. First run, a gain of 2, and that's Mitchell. Met there quickly by Edwards, Bernard, and Anthony. Take a look at that Aggies defense. Up front, there is Bernard, Edwards, and Flemings. Each one had a hand on Mitchell on that play. The linebackers are good. Glenn, Anthony, Gamble, and Bradley. They're active, they'll move, they'll bring them, and they'll stunt. Webster, Jamison, Jennings, and Cedric Curry is your secondary, and they may be tested here. Third down, they need 7.
Look at the top of your screen.
Underneath they come. Wide open field. It's Thompson. He's loose. Across midfield. Thompson to the 30. Thompson to the 20. And finally stopped there. A gain of 67.
And that's why we said look at the top of your screen, because Texas got the matchup it wanted. One-on-one up top, Chris Sims, an easy throw, which you want your young quarterback to get started with, and Texas A&M in a voided area. And they are exploited here early. Reminiscent of the way Texas started earlier against Oklahoma, but Chris Sims, they want to give him some high percentage throws.
Well, if success builds confidence, he's had that early success. Sims almost picked off high and behind the receiver. It was intended for Nunez.
A&M expected to have pressure on the quarterback regardless of who it was, thinking Major Applewhite would be the guy, but particularly with the young guy here. Now the scouting report on Chris, big arm, strong, pretty accurate, football mature coming from that family. Obviously the weakness is inexperience, so he is a great kid. Today we'll find out if he's ready to be a great football player right now.
There's a look at the Major. Cavell at the top of your screen, Flowers at the bottom. Hodges straight ahead. And Hodges down to the 15. Michael Jamison, the safety, along with Chad Franzen, made the tackle.
Hodges Mitchell has become an outstanding running back. He has really improved because when he changes lanes, if you will, he only changes one lane at a time. It's like driving a car and whipping over 3 lanes. He used to try to do that. Right now, though, he has learned to channel it and only move one lane at a time.
Third down and 5. Sims changing the play. Aggies showing blitz. 5-step drop. Pressure comes. Throw into the corner. Incomplete. It was intended for Kwame Cavell. Good coverage by Curry. No flags.
And this is exactly what Texas wanted again. Kwame Cavell matched up one-on-one, and we'll see the pressure coming from A&M. Good blitz protection. Sims holds it as long as he can. Hammered, and then he gets good coverage on the other end from Cedric Curry, 18. Does a nice job on one of the best possession-type receivers, Kwame Cavell in America.
So a 32-yard field goal attempt by Chris Stockton, and he's a good one. He's at 20 of his 28.
It's gone.
Strong leg. And it hit the post. This place is electric.
You know, Tim, I don't think either of us knew what to expect coming in here because no one's ever been in a situation like this. It has been somber, but you're right, it is electric now. And I think that whichever team handles the emotion wins this game. And I'll get back to more of that in a moment.
It's a good point because emotion sometimes gets in the way of concentration. First down, Texas A&M. Randy McCown is your quarterback. Big backs, Toombs and Hardiman behind him. Straight ahead, a loss of one. Met by the entire front of Texas. Take a look at the Chile starting lineup for Texas A&M offensively. A big offensive line, not as big as Texas, but talented. Mahan, Valletta, McKinney, Imuli, and Vincent. The wide receivers, Chris Cole, Chris Taylor, and Broughton is your tight end. They also will play Hodge and Bumgardner, and they'll spread the field. McCown, Bernard, and Toombs in the backfield now. Hardiman will be there as well throughout the day. Second down and 11. McCown looking deep. Incomplete. It was intended for Bumgardner. Defensively for Texas, and this is a very talented defense led by defensive coordinator Carl Reese. His defensive front is Humphrey, Hampton, Rogers, and Woodard. Casey Hampton and Sean Rogers are as good as you get in college football. The linebackers, Tyrone Jones, DeAndre Lewis, Everett Rawls. And in the secondary, Brooks, Jackson Brown, and Irvis Hill from Texas City, Texas. Third down and 11. McCown rolls that way. Gets a block. There's a flag down. It's complete for the first. Leroy Hodge made the catch, but they'll bring this one back. It's against the Aggies for holding.
Tim, back to the point on emotions during this brief break here. Whichever team handles the emotion wins, I think, and it's sort of like a big boxing match. A&M is going to come out. They're going to answer the bell with a flurry of emotions like maybe you've never seen before. It's vital that they win the early rounds of this fight to feed off of that emotion, because if they don't win those early rounds, it's like a fighter. You know, if you don't win those early ones and you come out with the emotions, sometimes it backfires on you. And Texas's philosophy is to hang on early.
Holding on the offense. On a pass play, 10 yards from the previous spot, still third down.
And Tim, finishing the thought, Mack Brown's philosophy is, he told his club, guys, let's hang on during that little flurry to begin the game. We'll settle into our fight plan, our game plan, and we think we're better than them and we'll win. That's before we learn of course, Major Applewhite's stomach virus and that he's out of the game. So we have a totally new element again.
So they move him back 10 more, Dino. It'll be third down and 21.
Wipes away a first down. Big penalty.
And moves A&M dangerously deep in their own territory inside the 10. Play action. Looking deep. Has a man. Is the catch made? Yes. Chris Cole with a terrific catch and a first down for the Aggies. 31 yards.
A lot of this now in college football, outside receiver up top, locked in man-to-man coverage is Ahmad Brooks. And watch the reception, a one-handed spectacular grab, as Cole is the go-to receiver for Texas A&M, and that is why.
So they pick up 31. They move it out to the 40. First down, Aggies. Toombs still on his feet and into Texas territory. Toombs is 6 feet, 265 pounds, and when he gets rolling, look out, a gain of 14.
You know, that big backfield you spoke of earlier, it's real simple in this game. Texas A&M wants to pound Texas and run just like that early in the game. Texas says, no, you're running into our strength. We think Casey Hampton, Sean Rogers, and the guys can stop you. That's where this game is going to be won or lost.
Here they go again. This time to Hardiman. Yeah. And they do stop him this time.
All righty, Randy McCowan goes again for Texas A&M, and here's a guy You look at his strengths. I think the fact that he is a leader and he leads with passion. He plays that way. And he's a good thrower, especially on the out route and the deep ball. Doesn't have a particularly strong arm, but those are his strengths in throwing the ball. He really, as a weakness, shoulders too much of the load, sometimes presses, and therefore makes too many mistakes. And he'll have to minimize those today.
Bethel Johnson comes in along with Chris Taylor. They are your set now, your wide receivers at the bottom of your screen, and they are quick. Again, here goes Toombs.
Hampton is probably one of the strongest and best defensive linemen to ever play at the University of Texas. Watch 64 go. He's 6'1", 305, and he is a bull. And Texas A&M wants to run the football right there, but Tim, I tell you what, you look at the tandem of Hampton and Rogers, and then you throw Woodard in there sometime to spell them. That is a lot of beef and a lot of talent.
Hampton just defeated the double team and made the tackle and showed you everything you ever need to know about him. Third down and 7. McCowan throws off balance, almost picked off. Now a flag comes in late. But Everett Rawls was almost gone. Number 2 had the pick and let it go through his hands. And this is against the Aggies.
Everett Rawls had a chance because that call goes against Texas A&M. Had he made the interception, there's no one between him and the goal line, so that's 6 points. Well, see Slocum a little upset with that first call.
What they call illegal formation?
Everett Rawls, too, comes out from his line.
Receiver downfield, declined, 4th down.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Don't see it in that picture at all.
I didn't see it either. I didn't see it on our other replay angle, but that's a good look as the referee was speaking there of what Everett Rawls as a linebacker did to that flat, that arrow type route. He jumped it, could have had 6. McCowan and the Aggies are lucky.
Well, the ball is at the Texas 43. If I'm on defense, I'm looking for a fake punt. Meanwhile, All-American Shane Leckler comes in to punt. If he does punt it, they'll look for the corner.
I think it's a game of field position, though, and Leckler can jam them deep as well as anyone.
Well, he does look for the corner. Let's see if he gets there. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. So, a 43-yard punt, but they'll bring it out to the 20. They don't gain much by that. We'll be back.
Don't you just hate the phrase, assembly required? Well, at Chili's, we do too. So with our new Chili's Sirloin Stack, we've done all the assembling for you. We take tender, juicy sirloin, hand-rubbed with our robust blend of seasonings, a mound of sautéed onions, and grilled peppers. Then we put them together for an incredibly bold new taste. And you'll only need a couple basic tools. Chili's new Sirloin Stack. Let's eat.
It's tough to put your finger on it. That's something that pushes some to press on and puts pride in their calluses. But when somebody's got this kind of drive, you'll know. Just look at their truck. Welcome to Ford Country. When you call this place home, you live in the land of the indestructibles. Land of tools that were born to work overtime. Bring on the gravel pits, pallets, and tandem axle trailers. Then bring on the weekend. Because when you're built Ford tough, you're out to take on anything. Just bring it on.
Tonight at 8/7 Central, Arnold Schwarzenegger takes on Sinbad for the hottest toy this holiday season in Jingle All the Way, ABC tonight at 8/7 Central.
A look at Mack Brown and what a job he's done at Texas. Just concluding his second full year at Texas, and the Longhorns are a power again. 9-3 last year, Cotton Bowl champions. 9-2 now, 6th in the nation, with a very young football team and 2 great recruiting classes. One of those recruits is quarterbacking the Horns right now. Phil Simms' son, Chris Simms, who was 2 of 4, 58 yards on that first drive. First down, Texas. Sims in trouble as the Agile goes down at the 11. Let's take you down to Chip Tarkington.
Tim, let's give you an update on Major Applewhite. He is still experiencing extreme pain in his stomach. He was sick this morning. Texas has decided they're only going to use him in case of an emergency, so they don't expect him to play unless they absolutely have to have him in the football game.
One of the things that Texas misses with Major Applewhite is the leadership, the execution. And we just saw him at last play, a relatively simple handoff, not executed, and putting Texas in a terrible position.
A loss of 8, second down and 18. The give straight ahead to Mitchell. He loses another one. Oh my, did Cornelius Anthony get there in a hurry? Big old 46, looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
Well, 46 hasn't played as well as A&M had hoped this year. Anthony has been a solid player since he's been at Texas A&M. He's coming off now as they'll go into a nickel or a dime situation as Anthony comes off his block. Terrific play there. And this is that flurry we were talking about early in the game that Texas A&M is playing with. They need to get points here early in the game and take the lead.
Thompson, Cavill, and Flowers, 3 wideouts. Third down and 20. To the outside they go. And Cavill is taken down at the 18.
Nice, safe play call by Greg Davis of Texas. He wants to get out of his end zone to punt. He knows this is probably not going for a big play, but it's a high percentage throw to help his quarterback, and Kwame Cavill can get up the sideline, make positive yards. Texas believes this is more a game of field position than any game they've played all year because of Leckler's outstanding ability to punt the football.
Well, after an early drive by Texas, the tide has turned. Ryan Long to punt. And Jason Webster and Chris Taylor are back at the 35. This is Taylor. Gets a block. Back up near midfield, and there are a couple of flags down by the 40. A 44-yard punt. We'll wait to see what the flag is before we give you the return.
Well, the flag will be the old halo rule that our viewers have become very accustomed to seeing.
So it'll be against Texas.
It'll be against Texas. And the defender cannot get within a 2-yard area. That's close right there. It's a 6-foot area, and it's very difficult for Jamel Thompson there, the wide receiver on that play, to know exactly when the ball is coming to the receiver. It's harder done than it is sitting in your living room.
We initially
there you go.
A halo violation. The kicking team was pushed into the receiving team's area. Therefore, the flag will be waved off.
Right, great call.
No violation.
Tom Eiler is your referee. Great field position for Texas A&M when we come back.
I got the feeling this storm wanted us gone. But that comes with the territory. We were scrambling to let the balloon break loose before everything else did. And we cut it a little close. We covered.
Ford Ranger, built Ford tough.
3 years ago, my IT guys told me there'd be 2 kinds of businesses. Those with a vision to master the internet, and those without. And we didn't want to be the second kind. And Dell came to see us. They showed us how to use the internet for direct relationships with our customers, suppliers, everyone who's a part of our business. With Dell support, there's no limit to where I can take this company. We always knew we needed the internet. We just didn't know how badly.
Be direct. Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Parents love the fact that the Burger King Big Kids meal has more of the great tasting food their kids love. And kids love the fact that they can get a limited edition gold-plated Pokemon trading card to trade with their friends. Which makes every parent happy. Well, most parents. Now, when you buy a tasty value meal, you can get a 23-karat gold-plated Pokemon trading card from Pokemon the First Movie for just $1.99. Pokemon and Burger King. Come and catch 'em all.
7:56 to play first quarter. The young guy, Chris Sims, getting an early indoctrination here in the rivalry between Texas and Texas A&M.
What a way to begin your career, really. He's played some this year, had a lot of snaps against Texas Tech in the last game, but this is for real.
Texas Texas A&M has first down up near midfield. Here's Toombs. And Jamar Toombs is hit by DeAndre Lewis. They'll mark it at the 50.
Texas A&M believes coming into this game, and I agree in terms of their solutions to this game, they've got to sustain the emotion that they started the game with. And then they have to be two-dimensional. This is not the old Texas A&M team that many of you might have seen that used to runs it all the time. They now throw the ball, but they also have to be able to run it, as Texas will try to penetrate, stop the run early, and then the corners will be locked in man on some risky deep balls as well.
And those are Dean's Dell game solutions. Second down Aggies. Option. Late pitch. Toombs around the corner, and Toombs fights his way to the 45-yard line. Again, DeAndre Lewis helped out by Greg Brown to get the big guy down. But Toombs is a load, 6 feet, 265 pounds of running back.
Not Dante Hall. He was booted off the team, and he was a little fast guy. This is a 265-pounder. Good execution by McCown. And when you're big, you better run through tackles, and he gets yards that the little guys don't with power.
So again, A&M has great field position, but forced to face a third down and 5. Taylor, Hodge, and Johnson are your wideouts. They need 5. McCown on the corner. He's got company, and he's not going to make it. Great pursuit by the Longhorns. Casey Hampton, the 6'1", 305-pounder, chased him all the way across the field.
Carl Reese has done a terrific job with this defense. They were 104th in the country when he came in a couple of years ago, and now they're 6th statistically. But this is a big decision here for Texas A&M.
Fourth down and 1. It's your rival. I'd go for it.
With the crowd, this is a risky call, because this is what we talked about earlier. If you don't sustain it, have success early, it could backfire. I agree completely. This crowd wants to get into the game.
And you have good field position. Hardiman and Toombs, the big guys in the backfield. Straight ahead, no fair dodging. Bingo. First down and more.
Hey, Coach, that's not dodging right there.
Tiki Hardiman.
That's coming right down the pike.
A gain of 11.
Now, I say right down the pike. They didn't go over Hampton and Rogers, the big two bulls lining up at defensive tackle for Texas, but took it a little bit outside, and a terrific blocking job by Vincent. Big play there.
A&M knew coming in they had to control the 2 inside guys defensively. It was critical for the offense to succeed. Here they are again. Toombs taken down from behind. Yesterday I had a chance to sit down with head coach R.C. Slocum, and I asked him about these 2 gigantic running backs.
We've got 2 big physical backs, and those guys have a way of wearing people down. I think if you're committed to running them as the game goes on, it gets tiring tackling big backs. You have to play a blocker, get off a block, make a tackle, and early in the game you used to do that pretty well. But as the game goes on, normally you see a little bit of a tiring effect.
Like a hammer and chisel. Here's the pass to Cole. Cole's loose. Cole to the 10. Inside the 5. Great Cole looked like Houdini.
Well, it was a great job of game planning. Also, Steve Crackthorpe, the offensive coordinator, felt that they needed misdirection. They bring back Cole underneath. Greg Brown, the safety, beaten early on the play, and Irvis Hill misses the tackle. But, Tim, they took advantage of the over-pursuit from Texas. Texas is a very aggressive defense, and they were able to take advantage of it there.
A gain of 25. First and goal at the 7. The hammer and chisel lined up behind McNown. Here he is. Toombs to the 5, to the 4. Over. I don't care how big and talented you are, Dino. You've got a guy coming in that's 245 blocking for a guy that's 265 and running. That'll wear you down.
Well, that's a load. That's a load, and they're running into some beef because with Hampton and Rogers, you have 305, 315, so that's 620. That's a lot of flesh, partner.
I bet they're coming at him again. Second down and goal, inside the 5.
Toombs. He's close. Touchdown, Texas A&M. The whole stadium is rocking. And it was power football. It was power football on the fourth down call when they decided to go for it. And here's a look at power football with number 20. Watch the fullback do his job. DeAndre Hardiman bumps his man aside, and then you have a big old hoss in Toombs barreling into the end zone. This crowd letting out some emotion that it has had pent up. Bad snap went right through the hands of the holder. Leckler tries to throw it. It could be a return. Here comes the return, and this will be a score for Texas. There's no way. He's got two blockers. No penalties. Returned all the way by Lee Jackson, and that'll go on the board for Texas. Not a very wise play by Shane Leckler to try to throw it, and he threw it into the teeth of the Longhorn defense. Well, Shane Leckler was a high school quarterback and a good thrower, and probably the best passing punter in the country. 2 points for Texas, and watch Jackson. Give him credit. He got the pick, he knew the rule, and he took it the distance. So with 3:49 to play and this return by Jackson, it's 6-2 A&M.
How do you measure success? Presenting iChoice from Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, a dynamic new financial program that lets you achieve your success your way. How do you measure success? At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
A pile of 100-year-old bricks might look like rubble to some, but I knew what they'd been through. Knew that you could hardly hurt them. And that bricks with a history like that was strong enough to stand again. Ford F-Series Super Duty. Built Ford tough.
We're on the road to number one. America's biggest road show. National Championship on ABC. The Nokia Super Bowl on ABC.
Yeah! Woo! We're on the road to the Nokia Sugar Bowl! And nothing's gonna stop us! Look out!
Now what? There's an easier way to the national championship. Nokia's Road to #1 sweepstakes. Just buy any Nokia model phone in a specially marked box and you can win trips to the Nokia Sugar Bowl and thousands of other great prizes.
Looks like you finally found yourself a date for the game.
Nokia. Connecting people.
Texas A&M giving up 2 points here. The snap is not perfect from Pierce, but it goes through the hands of Mark Ferris, a backup quarterback, putting Leckler in the jam. And you were right, Tim, bad decision there. Although he is a throwing punter and kicker, bad decision, no penalties, and Texas swings the momentum back its way. So A&M will kick off. That's Shane Leckler, the kicker, to Ike and Mitchell. This will be Mitchell a yard deep, and they'll bring it out to the 20. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. By Burger King, have it your way. By Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct, Dell. And by Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time. Tim Brandt, Dean Blevins, Chip Tarkington with you at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. 3:39 remaining in the first quarter. It's Texas A&M 6, Texas 2. Major Applewhite with a stomach virus did not start. Instead, the true freshman, young Chris Sims, is at the helm for the Longhorns. 3-step drop. He's got company. Now he throws, and it's complete to Cavill
just a yard short of the first.
Well, that's a terrific job by a true freshman. Sims bought time that time, and a lot of people have told me that he's more like Boomer Esiason, you know pretty well.
He reminds me of Boomer.
Yeah, instead of his father. But watch him here buys time, and he's a lefty like Boomer and a blonde, but he buys time until he gets Kwame Cavill open and makes the toss. That's a play of a veteran.
I think Boomer's a little more agile than Chris is right now.
And Richard. Right now, they may check him in about 10 years.
I agree with that. Whistles fly, flag comes late. They stop the play.
Dead ball. Ball start prior to the snap. On the offense. 5 yards, repeat the down.
So that'll move him back 5 more yards. Tomorrow, Spain's El Nino. Sergio Garcia competes in his first Skins game. He's joined by Marco Mira, Freddie Couples, David Duvall, and one of America's favorite Thanksgiving Day traditions, the Skins game. It's a feast on the green for the green. Thanksgiving weekend. That's tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, right here on ABC Sports. Garcia's fun to watch, isn't he, partner?
No, absolutely.
Second down and 6. Ball's loose. Is it an incompletion or a cut?
That's an incompletion. That's clearly an incompletion.
Should be an incompletion. The official on the play, the linesman, did not make a call. Now they'll say incomplete. Dean, take a look at the Dell Game Solutions.
Well, for Texas, they expect long drives today. They don't think they're going to be having any short fields because Leckler is such an outstanding punter. So 70 yards or more. Protect the football, particularly now with Sims in there. And Texas A&M defensively do just what they do. Tackle better than they have been and swarm the football. And they will pressure Sims more than they would have Applewhite.
Third down and 6. Out of the shotgun, Sims rolls. And he runs. He's got the first. Still on his feet to the 45. Will mark it at the 47-yard line. Chris Sims, acting like a veteran, picks up 23 yards.
Well, decision-making is the most important thing from the quarterback position. He rolls this way. He's a left-hander, rolls right. That's a difficult position for him. He's looking for Flowers downfield, but Flowers gives him ultimately the block he needs. That's terrific decision-making and running ability. 23 yards for Sims.
Texas with outstanding field position. At the 47.
First audible that I've noticed from Sims.
And the crowd picks up trying to block it. Mitchell, a loss of 1.
You know, Matt Brown told his team yesterday, Tim, when we were out on the practice field with him during the walkthrough here, he said, now this crowd is going to be into it like you've never seen. He said, if they get to you, just don't let the crowd know that they've gotten to you. Thought it was a good point.
Terrific play there by number 30, Brandon Jennings on a safety blitz. So it'll bring up second down and 11 for Matt Brown and his Longhorns. This place is really loud this afternoon.
Bottom of your screen, they like to go to Montrell Flowers in this set.
And again, they blow the play dead. And it looks like it'll be against A&M.
Timeout, Texas.
Correction. Timeout, Texas. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remain in the first quarter. We're still at 6-2 A&M.
Faster, more reliable, higher quality, more profitable. Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, and it can be whatever you want it to be. So tell us, what do you want the internet to be?
Come together right now over me.
This is a rental car. It's just a car, not even your car. So what's the big difference when you're choosing? Price. You search, get the rates, and what you're really looking for is a great car at a low rate. That's thrifty. Just the things you'd expect from a worldwide car rental company. Things like great cars, great service, airline miles, Blue Chip Express program, the works. And at a low rate. So the next time you need a rental car, call Thrifty. Just what you want. Just Thrifty.
In any business, there can be only one priority. At Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we have never forgotten ours. Not surprisingly, we measure success a little differently.
This game today is like a healing salve or a balm for these people, forcing them to move on to the tragic events of this past week. And I mean, they are letting it all out here today. Second down and 11 for the Longhorns. Again, the quick toss, intercepted. Brian Gamble inside the 45 with the interception, and Texas A&M has great field position.
Texas got what it wanted on the alignment. They go backside to Montrell Flowers. The pass, I think, Tim, has a little too much steam on it. Now, that's a good problem. You want a kid with a strong arm. Watch how quickly this ball gets on a slant route to Montrell Flowers. But he's got to catch that. And that'll be an interception in the books for Chris Sims that doesn't belong to him.
Well, Brian Gamble is also a freshman. He's young, but he's talented and awfully solid. First down, Aggies. Bethel Johnson in motion, and he's a speed back. Look out. That'll count as a sack. Great pressure by DeAndre Lewis, number 4. Reminder coming up next on ABC. College football doubleheader continues. Eric Crouch in number 3, Nebraska. They need a win to clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game against Texas. They keep their national championship hopes alive. They take on Colorado. That's coming up next right here on the home of the Bowl Championship Series, ABC Sports.
Montrell had a chance there. Let it go through his hands.
Point 80!
Here's Toombs. It's a tough 2 yards. Stopped by Cedric Woodard and Aaron Humphrey.
You know, the defensive front for Texas has played very, very well. Look at those numbers. 20 and a half sacks so far. Tackles for loss is 63, and that is a really good front four. We've talked a lot about Casey Hampton and Sean Rogers. Mentioned Woodard. Well, Aaron Humphrey, number 49, is an outstanding senior defensive end. Plays as hard as any player Mack Brown has ever had.
Third down in a taxi ride. They need 19 to move the chains. McCown has a lot of pressure. Ball's loose. Texas has it. It's Longhorn football. DeAndre Lewis forced the fumble. And it was recovered by Humphrey.
Turnover given, turnover taken. McCown here makes a mistake that he just can't make. As the leader of this offense, you've got to secure the ball. That wasn't hit with the helmet. That wasn't jarred out with a severe hit. That was a sloppy job of not protecting the football.
Granted, he's under pressure, but he's not throwing on schedule.
No, he's not.
He had Bethel Johnson wide open on the play before that and never pulled the trigger.
He's got to get back. If it's 5 steps, take your 5 steps, take a hitch and throw it. That comes back to, Tim, just trusting yourself and trusting your teammates.
Final 25 seconds of the first quarter in what has been a wild first quarter here in College Station. A&M showing the blitz. Ball's loose again. There's a flag down. A&M says they have it. But
were they across the line of scrimmage? This is a critical call.
Well, I don't know. Anthony got there so quickly. A&M or Texas got the fumble.
We have no flag on the play. The flag was inadvertently thrown instead of the beanbag on the fumble. No flag.
Well, then the fumble had to have gone to Texas. Let's see as Sims has nowhere to go. Ball's on the ground, so Texas recovered.
We assume.
Sloppy play, though, by Phil Sims as well. You've got to protect the football in all games, particularly one like this with the emotions riding so high every turnover.
Second down and 15. Sims wide open. And Cavell has his fourth catch of the afternoon, and there's another flag. Boy, Kwame Cavell is out to a quick start. He has his fourth catch. He is a combo of agility and power. Came to Texas as a linebacker and a safety.
I didn't see what the penalty would have been as we watch Isom.
It's holding against A&M.
Yeah, I didn't see a Texas mistake in the secondary, so that had to have been what it was.
And so the catch will stand. Cavell now with 89 catches for the year. I guess you'd say he's the go-to guy.
He's a terrific player. He is a very aggressive receiver. He was recruited as a linebacker, as a safety, and really strong hands. Talking to him before the game, he says, "I like to look at my defender in the eye." He says, "I know by looking at them what they're thinking if they're psyched out."
Holding by the defense on an eligible receiver, 10 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
The end of the first quarter is here at hand, and with the penalty, they will have the final play. It has been a wild first quarter in College Station.
I think each team has to be pleased. They don't like the turnovers, but Texas A&M had to take advantage of the emotion and take a lead and get the crowd into the game, keep the crowd into the game. They've done that. Texas, as we said, wanted to hang in there, hang on, let the game take shape, sustain itself, and then settle into the game. And I think that's where we are now. So the big question becomes, can A&M ride that emotion?
Texas with a record of 9-2, Texas A&M at 7-3 with that win over Texas Tech. The Longhorns secured at least a share, or they did win the Big 12 South Division title.
They'll play Nebraska or Colorado early.
Final play of the first quarter. Mitchell inside the 30, inside the 25 to the 21-yard line. The big gain of 11.
The big game coming up is critical. Kansas State or Nebraska will play them.
6-2 A&M. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Willie! It's go time.
Hey! That creepy mouse with the goggles is back in my apartment. Really? Can I hang here?
Absolutely. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. I used to be a car racer.
Oh, wow.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about possession of a catch. In this play, does any player have possession long enough to establish a catch?
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policyholder, they treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero. He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
We're talking about possession of a catch. In this play, the player who possesses the ball does not hold it long enough to establish a catch. This should be ruled an incomplete pass.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Comfort
luxury, and performance. All the pieces fall into place with a new Nissan Maxima 2000. 222 horsepower and comfortable seating for 5. All wrapped together in a package the New York Times calls a world-class, no-compromise sports sedan. For a limited time, drive New York's best-selling V6 with a Maxima GXE lease. Just $329 a month for 36 months with a $999 initial payment. Everything's falling into one place. Your local Nissan dealer. Hurry in before November 30th.
Watch Sandy Duncan, Peter Krause, and Andrea McCardle making...
All set to start the second 15 minutes at College Station, Texas. Toombs with a short run for a touchdown, made it 6-0 Aggies, and then the return of the attempted extra point by Jackson, and the extra point try, 2 points for Texas, and that's where we are, 6-2. This is Mitchell on the run. He's got room to the 15. Longhorns threatening again.
Hodges Mitchell needs to thank the guys up front for that. He makes some holes on his own, but big Leonard Davis and Roger Raisler, the best of the bunch up front, did a terrific job. Look at Davis. This guy is 6'6", 367, a junior. Raisler's the only senior out there. This is a very young football team.
Right now, the A&M wrecking crew has to make a stop. The Longhorns have them back. Here's Mitchell. He's got company, breaks the tackle, look out! Mitchell for the touchdown for the Longhorns. Hodges Mitchell with a 14-yard scamper. And oh, is he quick!
Hodges Mitchell does a great job here of not dancing but darting for a reason. When he finds that he can't go to the right, most backs are dead right there. Great vision, looks back, darts through the hole, and although he's only a 4.55 runner, which in football terms means that he's not an especially fast back, he's quick with great explosion.
Extra point by Ryan Long is good. And it's 9-6, Texas. Hodges Mitchell. Wow.
So what's on for today?
Boss wants you, me, and Charlie to take the new Silverado and move them bales.
Is that Charlie?
Chevy Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup.
Then we gotta water the herd.
300 horses make it more powerful.
If there's any daylight left, we'll take Norm up to see the ladies.
More powerful than Ford and Dodge. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
Well, guess that's enough for today.
Faster, more reliable, higher quality, more profitable. Nortel Networks is building the new high-performance internet, and it can be whatever you want it to be. So tell us, what do you want the internet to be?
Come together right now over me.
Parents love the fact that the Burger King Big Kids meal has more of the great tasting food their kids love. And kids love the fact that they can get a limited edition gold-plated Pokemon trading card to trade with their friends. Which makes every parent happy. Well, most parents. Now when you buy a tasty value meal, you can get a 23-karat gold-plated Pokemon trading card from Pokemon the First Movie for just $1.99. Pokemon and Burger King. Come and catch 'em all.
This is the best road trip we've ever had, and it gets better with a primetime matchup. Can you drive at night?
To see Notre Dame Stanford, you betcha.
Well, a short 37-yard drive by Texas after the turnover by McCown, and Chris Sims just orchestrated that nicely. Then the run by Hodges Mitchell, and it's Texas 9, Texas A&M 6. Ryan Long now preparing to kick off for the Longhorns, and Bethel Johnson, number 9, is standing on his own 5-yard line for A&M. And he is dangerous. This will be Johnson taking it at the 2. No place to run, flags fly late. Johnson gets it back to the 13-yard line, and that's it.
Well, the holding call will push A&M back farther, and you know, Texas, talking to its team yesterday with their coordinators, they felt that they were telling the team that, you know, we think our defense is better than their offense. And so we think that they're going to really have trouble going a long distance to score. That type of penalty just backs you all the way back. They're back to the 7-yard line, so you're looking at 93 yards if you want to go down and score. That's tough for this offense.
So again, A&M backs way, way up. And the Longhorns have the advantage. All of the 7. First down, Aggies. Toombs still on his feet to the 15-yard line. And Jamar Toombs just punishes tacklers, a gain of 9.
This is power on power. Linebackers beaten there as Lee Jackson comes up from his strong safety position, and Jackson is 10 yards back, and you don't mind your safeties being involved in a lot of tackles. These days they play close to the line of scrimmage, but not when they make them making contact at 10 yards.
Again, straight ahead. And Hardiman bangs his way out across the 20. First down, Aggies, they'll move the chains. Take a look at today's Aflac trivia question. It's a pretty good one. Who was the best single game receiving, or who has the best single game receiving performance in A&M history? Good question if you can read it.
And it, and it may have come against Texas. But then
first down, Aggies. Toombs breaks the tackle, runs over another one, and finally 3 guys forcing backwards. Rawls, Jackson, and Brown are there with a host of other Texas Longhorns.
Texas felt coming in that it needed to penetrate the offensive line. They needed to stop the big guys before they get rolling. Sean Rogers, 73. Watch him in the middle of your screen there. He gets a hand on him, doesn't get him, but he slows him down. Gang tackles come. It's a good job of execution there for Texas, executing the game plan.
They need 7. This is second down. The big guy straight ahead again. Tough 2. They continually attack that front. Hampton and Rogers, Humphrey and Woodard.
I know Steve Cragthorpe, the offensive coordinator, would love to be throwing the ball more, but you just can't afford the turnovers in the game you probably are not going to score a lot of points in.
Especially after McCown looked a little late on pulling the trigger.
Exactly, and they're so intent on getting a running game established to set up and play action.
Third down and 5. 3-step drop, throws quickly. It'll be close to the first, a yard short. Chris Taylor with the catch. They'll mark it at the 29. They had to get to the 30.
That was outstanding defense. I think he's short.
And deep in their own territory, Mac Brown knows they probably will not go for it here if they're short, which it appears they are.
Great stop there by Roderick Babers. And Tim, you know, that was the player who yesterday came down with seizures on the team bus coming over to practice. They didn't know if he would be able to play. He's a terrific young true freshman. He made a great play there, and that's not a first down.
No, A&M cannot go for it here, despite what the crowd is begging them to do.
Well, those are the uninformed rooters, the boosters right there, the support, but that's not the intelligent things to do. R.C. Slocum's been in this business too long. Has won too many games to go for it in a situation like this.
So All-American punter Shane Leckler comes on. Averaged 44 yards a punt last year. He's a career average of 44.5. He's going for the NCAA career record. Garcia standing at the 25 for Texas.
There's the best in the country.
He is without a doubt the best, and he'll need to boom one here. This is not one of his better ones. This is a line drive, but takes an Aggie bounce. It will be returned, and Garcia brings it back to the 34. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC College Football. By Nortel Networks, we're building the new high-performance internet. and by Sears and the Sears National Championship Trophy. Gorgeous day in College Station, Texas. Clear skies, sunny, temperatures in the mid-60s. First down, Longhorns. Sims, pressure, sacked. Chris Sims sacked for the third time. Brian Gamble, who already has an interception, has his second sack of the year.
There was a shot of Major Applewhite, and you know Major Applewhite is really feeling sick, literally. Here's a guy who originally committed to come to Texas A&M. Decommitted because Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator at the time when he committed, was subsequently fired. But he's not playing because he feels horrible. If you can imagine scrambling to the restroom and being very, very sick and then putting a helmet on and coming out and having to function like this, that's what he would have had to do.
Sims, play action. Plenty of room on the corner. Throws to the outside. It's complete. Cavell with his fifth catch of the day. He's out close to a first down for the Longhorns. He'll be 3 yards short.
A couple of good plays for Phil Sims. The first was taking the sack. Sometimes taking a sack is the best option. And then here he fluidly comes out in isolation. You see Texas A&M in soft coverage. And just a little skinny out route, a little short out route, executed well.
Bill having a big afternoon, the Big 12 leading receiver. It's amazing that Texas would have a receiver with almost 90 receptions. Third down and short.
Cover!
Going to be close to the first, but Cavill with another catch, and he's down to the 45-yard line.
Hey, that's a terrific play by a veteran in Kwame Cavill. He knew exactly how far it was needed to get a first down. Watch Kwame Cavill here. I'd like to show you, the teleprompter is on the fritz here, so we can't use that today, but watch him. He gets bumped, catches it. Watch him dive forward. He knows he needs to get there. He gets it by a foot.
But this is Texas. These are the Longhorns.
This is a new day in Texas.
You got a guy with almost 90 receptions for the year. 1956, Bob Bryant had 24 receptions. He's been the leader in season receptions ever since until Kwame Cavill. There's a carry by Mitchell.
Well, the times have changed. I remember talking with Mack Brown when he was into about his fourth year at Carolina. He said, at North Carolina, he said, you know, we're going to recruit because we're going to play the NFL game. We're going to get throwers and receivers and offensive linemen want to go to the pros. It worked at North Carolina. He's come here and done the exact same thing, and it's working extremely well.
The offense of the next millennium. Hodges Mitchell loses his footing, loses 2 yards.
Great turf, though, Tim. I know you were down on it earlier in the week, and this is about as good as it gets.
But they did have some rain.
Right.
And yesterday when we walked on it, when Texas arrived and we were out there with the Longhorns, it was a little bit soft, a little bit damp, and it's causing some problems today.
If you can't have good grass at a school like Texas A&M, you can't have good grass, huh?
8:49 to play in the first half. It's Texas 9, Texas A&M 6. Third down and 7 for the Horns. Blitz is coming. Makes it complete. Cavill's got the catch. First down, Texas. What a play by Chris Sims, the freshman.
Oh, what a wonderful play. And half of it was before the play ever started.
Brooks had him dead to rights on the blitz and tagged him as he released it.
And before that, though, Tim, he recognized the blitz was coming, changed his pass protection, makes a one-handed grab with his offhand, gets belted, makes a perfect strike. That is as good as you can do it.
Boy, he took a shot right in the mouth and delivered a strike. First down, Texas. Thompson in motion. Sims with time. And right through the hands of Montrell Flowers. Montrell had it, should have made the catch.
Montrell is off to a slow start. They love what he's doing for them. I mean, his emergence has really helped out the Texas passing attack. When he catches it, he goes a long way. He goes 17 yards every time he catches it, and he's a 10 100-meter sprinter. But you've got to catch it.
Ran a 9.97 100 meters in high school.
He ran 9.97.
9.97. Flowers goes out. Brandon Healy comes in. Second down and 10. Sims now 7 for 12. 100 yards. Hodges Mitchell carries the pile with him to the 40.
This is a tough environment to play if you're a veteran, particularly if you're a true freshman, but you realize the noise factor. Texas knew coming in it would be extremely loud, and they were using complicated hand signals, and Chris Sims is mastering that pretty well, and the team's taking the leadership. Big stop here for A&M. They need it.
Crowd comes to its feet. Third down and 7. Out of the shotgun, Sims throws another strike to Cavill. And it's a first down for Texas. And it's 7 catches now for Kwame Cavill.
Well, Cavill says, you know, my best buddy back there, Major Applewhite, does a great job, buys time, and finds me in cases like this. He said, freshman, I didn't know you could do that. That's a terrific job.
How about this, Steve? Out of his 92 catches this year, 47 of them have been for first downs.
44% of his yards come after the catch, too, showing his strength.
Gain of 16, first down Longhorns. Here's Hodges Mitchell. Look out. Gets a block. Breaks to the outside, inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Hodges Mitchell. Terrific block by Antoine Kirk-Hughes, the guard.
Perfect example of softening up the belly. The pass opens up the middle and makes it easier to run. Look at those big horses up front. Just zone blocking, and Davis and Raessler giving running room to Hodges Mitchell, who doesn't need much.
Texas is picking it up in chunks. That was a gain of 12. This is the 11th play of this drive. Mitchell again. Inside the 10.
A&M has been a little bit disappointed defensively with its front line. They have Rocky Bernard and Ron Edwards and Ronald Flemings up front, but this is a smallish bunch going against an especially large offensive line with the Longhorns.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. 6:33 to play in the half.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
If you're looking for horsepower, look at Chevy Silverado. Because Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup. More powerful than Dodge. More powerful than Ford. 300 horsepower. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
So that's why they keep coming here. Chili's famous fajitas. Tender strips of beef or chicken in our legendary marinade. Grilled to perfection and served sizzling. Only at Chili's.
Chris Sims with his first completion of 57-yarder to Thompson on the opening drive. His next 7 have gone to Kwame Cavill, who needs just 17 yards to set the record.
Second down for the Longhorns, deep in Texas A&M territory. Sims to Hodges-Mitchell, straight ahead inside the 5 to the 2. Terrific block by Derek Dockery, the guard. But right now, Chris Sims acting like a time-tested veteran.
And this is the lull. You can almost hear a pin drop in the stadium right now. This is the lull that Texas A&M can't afford. If Texas punches this out, they have to come back and answer the bell, the Aggies.
Last year, the Aggies could concentrate on Ricky Williams. Now Texas is a pass-run explosion. There's no one key.
They're a three-headed monster with the quarterback, Hodges-Mitchell and Kwame.
First down and goal. Thompson in motion. Hodges with the ball. Hodges-Mitchell close to the goal line, no signal. They'll mark it
roll up, guys.
Inside the 1. Hodges-Mitchell is short, 5'7", 190 pounds. And behind those big old linemen, he's a hide-and-seek runner. He hides behind the big guys and seeks a hole, and oftentimes finds the crease.
Texas A&M needs a stop in the worst way, but really, it seems the only way you stop someone the way Texas has been pounding it is a fumble.
Right now, Texas A&M needs a miracle. Second down and goal. Straight ahead they go. Touchdown, Texas.
Impressive drive by the Longhorns. They did what they wanted. They got the running of Hodges-Mitchell. They got the performance from Sims, the quarterback, and they also got Kwame Cavill having a superior day. And those are the headliners. But you know what? The guys up front did just as an outstanding job as the rest of them.
Smart play by Texas. They take Mitchell out. They bring in Chris Robertson, and the big guy just bangs over the top. And Chris Robertson with the touchdown. Stockton with the extra point.
Every time Robertson touches, he scores. 11 touchdowns and 7 touches.
Texas 16, A&M 6.
Life moves pretty fast. You need tires guaranteed to keep up. Right now at Sears, all tires in all sizes are on sale for all of 9 days only. The biggest names around, now at great low prices. Only at Sears. Hurry in.
Meet Martin Licious, Storm Chaser. Some head for the basement. He heads for a Chevy S10. It's got advantages over Ford Ranger, like better fuel economy, a bigger bed, and standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes on every model. Because if you want to outrun Mother Nature, you need every advantage you can get. Chevy S10, like our rock.
Right now, it's Sears Thanksgiving Weekend Sale. The Craftsman Gift Set, just $49.99. 17 pieces, all Craftsman exclusives. And guaranteed to help with that, some assembly required. Give the good life at a great price, guaranteed.
I want my students to make a difference. I'm not interested in a student just taking notes to render forth some answers on an examination. I'm challenging my students to be the best they can be, to be truly great, to become leaders that march into the new millennium and make an impact, not just an impression.
Promotional consideration provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Bowl Championship Series on ABC.
Let's go!
Balanced attack by the Longhorns, and they've taken a 10-point lead with 5:19 to play in the first half. Stockton booms this one. Johnson all the way back to the back line and downs it there. They'll bring it out to the 20.
This is a huge drive for Texas A&M. They're down 10. The crowd is out of the game right now. They really need to make something happen here. And I think, they have to avoid, Tim, what they got into the habit of doing against Nebraska. They got into some must-pass situations, and the Huskers were all over it. That's what Carl Reese and the Texas defense would like to do to them. So it's hard to stay with your game plan and run, but you really sort of need to do that to keep them off balance.
Well, in that same light, it's too early for A&M to panic. They have to be patient. Just do what they decided to do with their game plan. That's the big guy running straight ahead up to the 20.
And that's the problem. That's the game plan right there. And, you know, you're matching your big guys against their big guys, and Casey Hampton and Sean Rogers are winning more times than not.
Well, we saw it earlier in the year, specifically the Nebraska game. When A&M was unable to run, they were paralyzed.
Oh, yeah.
And lost it 37-0.
Tell you what, that Nebraska defense is special, though. I mean, I've watched Nebraska defenses for 30 years, and that's as good a defense as I've seen.
Second down and 10.
Toombs loses yardage. Crowd impatient. And it really goes back to what we said just a moment ago. You have to just get something going on the ground, because if not, Texas will tee off on you, know exactly what's going on. Watch the big guys up front. Sean Rogers, 73. He is a big load, a big-time player. Tim, this guy's 315. He is the most talented player on the field for Texas. He'll be an NFL player. He's been inconsistent and immature in his early years, his early days, but he is a dominant football player when he plays hard.
Texas front four is the best in the country, in my opinion, bar none. McCown to throw, does over the middle. Looking for Johnson, incomplete. Bethel Johnson had a step and looked like he could make the catch.
Sure did. Crowd's wanting a penalty.
Well, it looked like he was more concerned at getting a flag than getting the football.
McCown is a good deep ball thrower, but Bethel Johnson here doesn't adjust on the route. It looks as though the ball is catchable. It's not an easy catch, but he didn't get his head back quickly enough to see where his adjustment needed to be made.
So Shane Leckler comes back on to punt. His last punt was not a great one. Certainly not up to his caliber. And this one's not a great one. This one goes up to midfield and gets an A&M bounce down inside the 45. Well, we're talking about great rivalries, and certainly Texas A&M is that. Tomorrow, interstate rivals go head-to-head on ABC. Heisman Trophy candidate Joe Hamilton and the Yellow Jackets take on the Bulldogs of Georgia. Georgia Tech, and then followed by Arizona State. Running back trunk candidate and the Wildcats take on the Sun Devils. That's tomorrow right here on ABC Sports. It starts at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on ABC, the home of the Bowl Championship Series. And if you haven't seen Joe Hamilton play, shame on you. It's as good as they get.
Well, just as the last series was huge for the Texas A&M offense, it's even bigger for the A&M defense here. They can't go into halftime trailing by more than what they are now.
Texas again with great field position, and Sims looking deep, going for the home run. And it's incomplete, intended for Kwame Cavill, who's having a terrific day here at Kyle Field.
That was covered by Jason Webster. You had a look at him there, number 39. He is the best cover man for Texas A&M and a terrific player. This guy's been around for 3 years as a starter, and he is one of the guys. I think one of the things they've missed this year defensively is not only the play of Datwin, the All-American linebacker, but the spirit of him, the leadership. And although Jason Webster is a leader, he's a quiet, non-vocal leader.
Second down, again the blitz. And this time Hodges Mitchell is stopped in his tracks.
Don't you think, though, that the loss of Datwin, maybe more than just his superior play, the way he carried himself, the leadership, the guts, that's what this defense has missed more than anything, Tim?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. A&M finishes in the top 10 in total defense more times than not. Last year, the Aggies were 10th in the nation, running blitzes with Datwin, as you said. A little more difficult now, but Brian Gamble has done a great job filling in.
Gamble, number 17, he's got a nice career in front of him. Only a redshirt freshman.
See what A&M does here. They're in a 2 deep on 3rd down and 10. Sims rolls around the corner and is tagged as he goes out of bounds, and now a flag comes in late. Jay Brooks was the man that delivered the blow. R.C. Slocum feels he was hit legally, but a flag came in immediately.
Well, that's the hardest blow that Sims has seen.
Rocked his world for an instant.
That was a close call because it appeared that he was out of bounds when he was hit.
Flag will be picked up.
Flag is picked up, no penalty.
As he stepped out.
I'll tell you this, tough to tell if he was in or out, but that is a great lick by Brooks.
I didn't hear what the official ended up saying.
Said he was hit.
He was out. He was out of bounds right there. He's out of bounds, and he comes back in. I guess it was the ruling.
But that defender doesn't know he was out of bounds 5 yards earlier.
Right.
And that's why he picked up the flag. So Ryan Long comes on to punt after the wrecking crew has made the stop.
Two best calls here in this game have been no calls.
This is a high tail wagger. Taylor will field it at the 10, and he'll try to return it. And does to the 15. So a 43-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Coming up next Saturday, conference championships and automatic BCS bids are on the line. At 3:30 Eastern, the Texas Longhorns, led by Major Applewhite or Chris Sims, against Nebraska or Kansas State. And how about this? Running back Sean Alexander and the number 9 Crimson Tide look to upset the Gators. That's all on ABC, the home of the Bowl Championship Series. Well, in the first quarter, that was deafening in here. It's gotten quiet now. First down for the A&M Aggies. Again, McNown doesn't throw. Inside the 5. Throws it up for grabs and out of bounds.
That is terrific coverage by the secondary of Texas. He had nowhere to go with that football.
Earlier we gave you the Aflac trivia question. Who has the best single-game receiving performance in A&M history? And the answer is, partner?
It was back in the 60s. Was it McLean?
That's it. Kenny McLean from A&M had 250 yards receiving against Texas way back in 1965.
I followed Southwest Conference football.
I bet you did.
Now my brother played for the Razorbacks back in that general time of the area.
Randy McCown again up behind center, and the give is to Hardiman.
Nothing's working for the Aggies offensively. They will have to go regroup and try to figure something at halftime, although they'd love to be able to jam in some points here before the gun goes off in 2 minutes, but they have really struggled.
McCown is 3 for 7. He needs one now. Third down and 5. Throws to the corner and bounces around in the direction of Chris Taylor. McCown right now not playing with a great deal of confidence.
Makes the play calling tough for that guy, Steve Cragthorpe. Because when plays are there, you have to execute. Now that's a hard throw. That's across the field. That's an out route, but that's his strongest throw. I think the pressure mounts when things start to go south, and Texas A&M feels that pressure right now.
That is 4 3-plays and out for the Aggies. That's not going to get it done.
It's gone.
Lecter gets a good punt this time. It's a high one. It'll be taken by Garcia. It's hit almost immediately. Good coverage by A&M. Garcia is downed at the 44-yard line, so a 36-yard punt. No return.
Good job by the Aggies, and I was thinking that Texas is a club that started the season so slowly with special teams. You look back in the North Carolina State game, they lost that because of, 4 block punts? And Mac Brown told me a couple of days ago that his club has won the kicking game the past 4 games, so they had room for improvement and has made it, and have made it by and large.
The story of this second quarter has been great field position for Texas. And once again, the Longhorns at the 44. First down, Sims. Late to Cavill. No, incomplete. Reminder coming up, Valvoline halftime report. John and Terry in the studio, and on-field activities from here at Kyle Field. That's all coming up in about a minute and 38 seconds.
Another good throw. Michael Jamison there in coverage was able to swat it away, but Texas A&M is going to sit back in some zone. They're rushing 4, dropping 7, so you'll likely see completions. They'd love to put pressure on this kid, though, but he's handled it really well.
From the shotgun. The Horns need 10. Incomplete. Brandon Healy took it on the short hop. And so it'll bring up third down and 10. And the wrecking crew of A&M needs a stop here badly. To get to the House-Dean just down 10, I would think would be a victory.
Yeah, and that was a nice job because they only came with 4, but it felt like the pressure, meaning 4 men rushing, their ends and their tackles coming through. They ran some tricks up front and were able to get pressure. Let's see if this was a catch. I don't know if he was on the line. It looked as though he caught it before it hit the ground.
I don't know.
From that angle, it was hard to see if he was in bounds.
Third down and 10. Sims goes down again. Ron Edwards with a sack.
Well, Edwards is the best of the guys up front, and he beats Anderson on that play and Raessler and gets to the quarterback. So the defense has responded, Tim, the last 2 times it's had an opportunity to keep the Aggie offense in position to win this football game.
I'll tell you this, Ron Edwards is an all-conference type guy, 6'3", 273, extremely strong, knows how to leverage, uses his body to root deep and find the ball like he did that time. Timeout on the field with 1:16 to play. A&M down by 10, but with the football when we come back.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
.16 to play in the first half. Longhorns ready to give it back to the Aggies. This is Ryan Long. A lot of pressure coming, ball blocked. Texas A&M makes a block. Michael Jamison, we got there first. And the Aggies have made a big play.
And what a time to do it. Shorten that field, turn it around, and watch Jamison, number 1, come through. Unblocked. A busted assignment at a terrible time for Texas, and what a wonderful time for Texas A&M, whose offense needed this type of help. Talk about an in-your-face play. There it is.
Talk about a team that needed a big play and got one. 1:10 left in the first half.
It's over.
Kiki Hardeman to the 30, and the crowd gets restless again.
You know what? Great defenses make crowds get restless. People get frustrated with play calling, and sometimes it's just that the other guys do a better job on that particular play.
The Aggies pick up the tempo. McCown looks. It was intended for Chris Taylor. And Ahmad Brooks had pretty good position on him, and Taylor couldn't come back across him to make the catch.
Well, he's really replaced Chris Cole as the go-to guy. Taylor here is complaining about coverage. I don't think that he had a legitimate complaint. I think Brooks was in good position, and Taylor, when you get, the old rule is when you get your hands on the ball, you got to catch it. That's a tough catch, but that's the type of catch that makes big plays and wins games for you.
So it's 3rd down and 9. From the shotgun. McCown with a lot of pressure.
No.
And throws incomplete. Threw it in the direction of Cole, but I think he was throwing that one away just not to take the sack.
Well, Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator at Texas, has a philosophy that he's going to come early and stay late. I guess they have a call that's double saw, double knife, we're coming early. And that's what they've done in this game, and they've continued to do throughout. They started the game that way, and they're doing it now. And A&M, Tim, has simply not been able to exploit Texas when they've had them in some vulnerable positions.
Well, the Aggies are going for it on 4th down and 9. Out of the range of Kitchens. The game has been inconsistent field goal-wise, and here's McCown in a lot of trouble. Looking for a block. Throws back to Cox's body, and it's intercepted. And now they rule it off and say it's incomplete. Wow. That's not a good decision. He looked like he had room to run.
Well, that's the only thing he could have done, because in terms of coverage, Texas was in good shape. Good job by Ahmad Brooks right there on Taylor, and that's the way all the receivers were covered. That's not an interception, which really is to the advantage of Texas because the ball is spotted farther. But that's good defense, Tim. I don't know that he had a lot of room to run because Texas had great closing speed on him. It's been an outstanding performance defensively by the Longhorns and a suspect performance offensively at best for Texas A&M.
Well, I know a lot of people here at Kyle Field shaking their heads saying, why didn't Terrence Kitchens come on? His longest field goal is 62 yards, certainly has a strong leg. This would have been from 47. But Kitchens has been very inconsistent as of late. He's 15 of 23 kicking field goals.
Well, they've had blocked kicks. I think they've had 7 of them blocked, and that's really unusual for Texas A&M.
That's Ahmad Brooks who's down. And now medical staff has him up, and he'll get off the field.
Well, they need him out there. He's the best cover corner for Texas by far.
.29 seconds left in the half. A half that has been pretty much dominated by the Texas Longhorns.
I think Texas goes conservatively here, especially in that formation. They go down and take a knee and say, Chris, you've done a nice job. We've got a 10-point lead. We've held off their surge, so more of the same in the second half, and Texas A&M will be lamenting the fact that they had a chance there at the end of the half to take advantage of the turnover and didn't. But still, 10 points behind, you're definitely in the middle of this ball game.
10 seconds left. They'll let that expire, and that'll be the end of a very emotional, wild first half here at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. The final second ticks off. Let's take you back to New York to John and Terry.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Emotional as expected. What was not expected is the absence of Major Applewhite.
Well, he's got a stomach virus, and the object of the backup quarterback is to be ready at any time. Chris Sim is just that, ready to go.
He's been waiting for this chance probably for about 3 years. Stick around. We're going to have a look at the Nebraska-Colorado game and a tribute as well after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Meet Carlos Sandoval, veteran Navy SEAL, trained to go through anything, equipped to survive it. Introducing the Chevy S10 Survival Pack. CD, automatic, air, aluminum wheels. Over $1,500 in savings and $1,250 cash back. You might think that could weaken a Navy SEAL. Fat chance. The Chevy S10 Survival Pack. Like a rock.
Hey there! Time for a holiday! So switch off your computers and take a national holiday with National Car Rental. Spend some time with National Heroes. Or visit a national treasure. Join the National Football League. Or take your kids to a national park. But wherever you go, National will get you there fast. Because with hundreds of locations nationwide, it's hard to find a place that's not a national city. Whoa! National Car Rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go!
Well, it rained.
A state of emergency has washed away roads leading.
For 3 straight days it rained.
A series of storms coming.
Then the levee broke.
4-foot wave washed through town, tore everything up.
Oh, a lot of people lost everything.
Everything they had. No, the problem was we had all this water.
But you couldn't drink a drop of it.
That's when the truck from Miller rolled up.
I see it and I'm thinking beer.
Beer?
Beer? But it was water.
They stopped bottling beer?
They stopped bottling beer and bottled water for us instead.
Miller, part of the Philip Morris family of companies, donated thousands of gallons of drinking water to disaster victims last year. For decades, Philip Morris has assisted communities in distress all around the world.
Actually, I could have used a beer right then. But that's another story.
Working to make a difference. The people of Philip Morris.
Thanksgiving leftovers make a great meal, but your Toyota dealer still has plenty of the main course left. So dig in and get a zero down deal on Camry, America's #1 selling car. That's zero down, people. Just $249 a month and zero due at signing on a well-equipped, restyled 2000 Camry, but it won't be around long. Your Toyota dealer will stop serving this Thanksgiving special on Tuesday night. So, hurry.
Roger Daltrey rocks the house. Get it live.
We interrupt this program for a special report from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Great quarterback and great defense. Marshall, the leading scoring defense in America.
And Marshall has the nation's longest winning streak at 14. Later today here on ABC, it's Nebraska against Colorado. Nebraska not only needs to win, they need to win big to have a chance for the national championship. Let's join Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy.
John, here's another Nebraska team looking for its 10th win of the season. And, Bob, you go back a month ago, they lose to Texas. Everybody thinks they're out of the national title chase. They've worked their way back in it.
Well, they've won the national championship 3 of the last 5 years. And what they need to do is win this game today big, and then also go on to the Big 12 championship and win that game big. They need style points, and they need voters on their side.
Their defense playing great, but so's their quarterback right now.
Eric Crouch is amazing. He leads Nebraska in rushing. The quarterback leads Nebraska in rushing, and he also throws the ball very well. They got to get him to go to win this game.
All right, should be a fast track today, but Nebraska knows that 2 years ago their national championship hopes almost went up in smoke here at Folsom Field. Buffaloes and the Cornhuskers a little bit later on. Let's go back to John and Terry.
And we talk about the factor that they not only have to win, they likely have to run the score up.
They sure do, but they can keep Colorado's score down because they have the nation's #1 pass defense going against one of the best throwers in the nation.
That one is coming away at 2:30 Eastern Time. Meanwhile, we talked about the 12 students who lost their lives. Let's return there and rejoin Tim Brandt. Tim.
John, thank you. We are at halftime, and we are watching the University of Texas Longhorn Band, the show band of the Southwest.
Our two institutions are great rivals, but more importantly, great friends who have the highest amount of respect for each other. May the Longhorn spirit and the spirit of Aggieland never die.
celebrate their lives and remember them always. We'll be back with more after this.
The road is long and the road is tough. The road is long.
Is your car living a tough life? Better use a Tough Oil. Valvoline DuraBlend, the one strengthened with synthetics to outperform all leading conventional motor oils. Valvoline DuraBlend, tough oil for a long, tough life.
This time of year seems like you just can't win. The shopping, the traffic, the weather. It's like this endless game. Good thing there's the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event because everyone wins. You can get huge cash back or low APR financing or great smart lease offers on these great Chevrolets, the cars and trucks you can depend on. So, don't roll the dice this holiday season. Get to the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's your turn to win.
Life is challenging.
I am strong. Win
Or lose.
Everyone play. We're ready.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
The spirit of Aggieland has never been more prevalent. The pulse of Aggieland, the Fightin' Texas Aggie Band.
Of an endless legion of Texas Aggie bandsmen whose dignified footsteps, echoing brass, and thunderous cadences have filled this stadium through decades past. May each senior know that because of their dedication, self-discipline, and unity of spirit, that they were good enough and proud enough and tough enough to be called the Noble Men of Kyle. The Fightin' Texas Aggie Band class of 2000 wishes to dedicate their last Kyle Field performance to the 12 Aggies who were killed in the bonfire tragedy, to those injured, and to their classmates, families, and friends. And now, formed at the north end of Kyle Field, the nationally famous Fightin' Texas Aggie Band.
be back to Kyle Field for the rest of the halftime activities right after this.
I vow to make you invincible, to make your engines sing, to use the strong, tough synthetic oil, the one that has a super breed of molecules to protect you from cold, heat, dirt, time, the one that'll help keep you from growing old. I will never let you die.
Valvoline SynPower. Advanced synthetic oil, additives, and cleaners that super enhance your car's performance.
This time of year seems like you just can't win. The shopping, the traffic, the weather. It's like this endless game. Good thing there's the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event because everyone wins. You can get huge cash back or low APR financing or great smart lease offers on these great Chevrolets. The cars and trucks you can depend on. So, don't roll the dice this holiday season. Get to the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's your turn to win.
Valvoline Halftime 99, brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline.
We choose not to sleep. We choose instead to explore. We choose to invent, to discover, to cure, to lead. We choose not to sleep. Make some coffee. We're Texas.
This Thanksgiving, Sergio Garcia gives an American tradition some Spanish flair. He joins David Duvall, Fred Couples, and Marco Mira for the Skins game, Saturday at 4:30 on ABC.
ABC Sunday on The Practice.
The man is on his deathbed.
A lawyer's torn between saving a client's life at the risk of another's.
If I cross-examine him tough, I'll kill him. You're not that good, Eleanor. Get away!
An all-new Practice. ABC Thanksgiving Sunday, 10/9 Central.
Halftime activities continue here at Kyle Field. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Their stories are all different, but their passion, their dreams, are all the same. That's why State Farm is a proud sponsor of women's sports, because little girls have big dreams too.
Did you ever take a fight on short notice? How short?
For $100,000.
We want a guaranteed title shot in the contract.
Could you knock out your best friend?
Why are you guys fighting?
Because they pay us. Woody Harrelson, Antonio Banderas.
She's mine. I might do that, you know? Because ever since you shave your head, you look so pretty.
Play it to the bone.
I just don't like you.
Knockout. That's incredible.
I don't like you either.
Rated R. Starts Friday, January 13th. Introducing the all-new Chevy Monte Carlo. Green. The side you show the world is up to you.
Tonight, people pushing brooms one day, taking your pulse soon after.
It was basically the see one, do one. It was never taught in a classroom.
Is this for real? Think that's a trained nurse at your bedside?
My wife should never have had to suffer like this because somebody didn't have enough training.
Maybe you should think again. 2020 tonight.
I spend a lot of time online. It's actually made me appreciate my investment advisor even more. With all the research on the net, our conversations are better than ever.
Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest.
Buick
LeSabre and ABC7 would like to send 20 of your family members to Walt Disney World's year-long Millennium Celebration. It's Buick LeSabre's Walt Disney World 2000 Family Reunion. Enter at your local Buick dealer or send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to Buick LeSabre's Walt Disney World 2000 Family Reunion, Ansonia Station, P.O. Box 230477, New York, New York 10023. Watch Channel 7's Bill Evans at 6 a.m. December 28th to see if you're a winner. Buick LeSabre and Walt Disney World would like your family to celebrate the future hand in hand.
When we re-engineered the all-new 2000 LeSabre, we gave it more standard safety features for you and your family than any other car in its class. And during Buick's Countdown to 2000, get a smart lease on the all-new 2000 LeSabre Custom for as low as $349 per month for 36 months. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important lease details. The all-new 2000 LeSabre, as low as $349 per month. Drive one at your Buick dealer now.
Hit and run, steal third, steal home. You can't avoid risk altogether, but you can try managing it by doing things the right way. At Oppenheimer Funds, they understand that.
Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest.
Live one man's quest to reclaim his heritage tonight at 5.
Welcome back. Your second half is coming up in just a moment. But first, Rice defensive tackle Judd Smith is the winner of this week's Burger King Scholar Athlete. Once again, this year, Burger King Corporation will donate $1 million to the General Scholarship Funds of colleges and universities and a $100,000 grant to the Scholar Athlete of the Year. Judd led the Owls defensive line in tackles in '98 and has 21 tackles for a loss this season. He maintains a 3.48 GPA.
It's an honor to get this award because Rice University has done so much for me academically and athletically, and just to give back to the university is a great honor.
Judd Smith is this week's Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Week award winner. Right now, it's time to go back to Texas and Texas A&M. Let's rejoin Tim Brandt.
All right, John, thank you very much. While we were away, the Texas Aggie Band formed a silent block T. There was silence in the stadium as they marched off, and you could hear yourself breathe. There has been a kaleidoscope of emotions permeating the air in College Station, Texas, specifically here at Kyle Field this afternoon. Well, we're ready to play football again. The teams are on the field. They've been waiting for us, and we're ready to turn them loose. It's Texas 16, Texas A&M 6, 30 minutes to play here in College Station.
You know, this is a state that is filled with passion, and I think we've seen the best of people come out, whether they're Longhorns, Aggies, or neither. It reminds me, I live up in Oklahoma City and the tragedy that we endured with the bombing, and you saw just the great traits of people come out.
There wasn't a dry eye in the house here at halftime. Ethel Johnson takes it 5 yards deep. He takes a knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20. Take a look at the Dean Witter first half statistics.
Well, the numbers that jump out at you there, A&M has not been able to run the ball very well or throw it. 105 total, but their passing yards is only 59. And I think the points off turnovers is a critical thing. 9 points for Texas. It's only listed as one turnover because that's the way it is statistically, but in reality they had the fumble and the interception on the extra point attempt. That was essentially 2 turnovers, costing them 9.
Texas A&M starts the way they ended it, with a run by Toombs off the left side. The Texas A&M first half statistic that jumped out at me was they're 1 for 8 on third down conversions.
You can't win doing that. And the turnover number, there's a statistic in football that is relevant. So many times statistics are not. But there's a statistic that reveals that the team with the fewest turnovers wins the game 80% of the time.
Well, I'm glad they're back to football. I couldn't take much more of that halftime. Wow, it was emotional. Second down and 9. Toombs across the 30. It'll be a first down. Move the chains. The Aggies on the roll. Right now, let's take you downstairs to Chip Tarkington.
Well, thanks, Tim. You know, most of the time when teams come out on the field for the second half, there's a lot of emotion. Texas A&M came out on the field very quietly until they got on the sidelines. They got ready for the kickoff. Then all of a sudden, the emotion erupted again. I think they're going to play a much more enthusiastic second half than they did the first half.
And as Texas came out of the locker room, the Aggie band had formed the silent T, and there was silence. They took a knee, took their helmets off, It was extremely moving.
It's over, it's over.
Again, they run straight ahead. This time, Tiki Hardeman, who's 5'10", 242 pounds, from Houston, Texas, and he picks up a tough yard.
It'll be interesting to see a match of wits going on here because at halftime, of course, adjustments are made, and Steve Cragthorpe, the offensive coordinator for the Aggies, had several adjustments that he needed to make. He's sticking with his running game. Mac Brown believes his defensive coordinator, Carl Reese, is the best in the country, and the best in large part because he makes great halftime adjustments.
Again with the run, Toombs, is he drilled as he comes up to the line of scrimmage. Casey Hampton just leveled him.
A&M, that's not what you look for in possessions in the first half, except the second possession. They were able to take it and score, but other than that, they had the fumble, and actually following the touchdown, they did have that interception that cost them two, then the fumble, punt, and out on downs. So first downs and big plays they have to do.
Terrific hit by Hampton. Strongest guy on that Texas team. Bench presses 460 pounds. Squats 600. And the Counts pass is blocked, this time by Aaron Humphrey, who's 6'3", 260.
Aaron Humphrey is a heck of a football player. He's a guy that is leaving Texas as one of the finest that they've had on the defensive front. And he's a guy that, I don't know if you saw the tape of Texas Tech where the Longhorns hammered them, but this guy is from Lubbock, and he had a spectacular game in that game, and he said he would play this game with as much emotion. He's played well.
There's a low snap to Leckler. He gets off a high wobbler, and Garcia calls for the fair catch at the 28-yard line. So a 39-yard punt. A&M unable to move it down the field. Texas will have its first possession after this.
5 things to consider about the Chevy Impala. It starts under $20,000. It's designed, engineered, and built to be carefree. It's at your Chevy dealer now. It's received the highest frontal crash rating possible. 5 stars from the federal government. The new Chevy Impala. As USA Today put it, it's a lot more car than you imagine, at a lower price than you expect. The new Chevy Impala.
Let's go for a drive.
Parents love the fact that the Burger King Big Kids meal has more of the great tasting food their kids love. And kids love the fact that they can get a limited edition gold-plated Pokemon trading card to trade with their friends. Which makes every parent happy. Well, most parents. Now when you buy a tasty value meal, you can get a 23-karat gold-plated Pokemon trading card from Pokemon the First Movie for just $1.99. Pokemon and Burger King. Come and catch 'em all.
Contrary to some opinion, e-commerce isn't just about selling things. It's about connecting people in business. To their customers, yes, but also to their partners and colleagues, and to anybody else that makes business go. At Microsoft, we've helped thousands of companies build e-commerce solutions easy enough for any business to use. Because if everybody's connected, business works better.
30 years of making Monday night special. This week, Green Bay, San Francisco at 9, 6 Pacific.
12:35 to play in the third quarter. 16-6, Texas. Longhorns with their first possession of the second half. Chris Sims is your quarterback and throws a strike to Cavill. And Cavill is across the 30 to the 31.
Chris Sims started the game with poise, and he came out in the second half showing it as well. Hanging in the pocket well, made a completion on that play. Got banged hard, but came back. Here was really his only mistake. I think the interception that was thrown was not his mistake. That was a ball that went through Flowers' hands, and he had a terrific half. 8 of 16 with the one interception that doesn't count in my books for 116, 118. As productive as he was tattooed several times. Here's the give to Hodges. Hodges-Mitchell to the 37. Knocked down there by Cedric Curry. Hodges-Mitchell having a great game today. As you look at Major Applewhite, who's suffering with a stomach virus today. Yeah, he is feeling very, very bad. Told me yesterday that in his career, everything has fallen into place. And this is one time that it hasn't fallen into place. But that's the way it goes, and Texas is fortunate that it has a terrific young talent in Chris Sims, who will battle Major Applewhite, the probable, in my mind, Big 8, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year for a starting job this spring.
Third down, they need a long 2. Crowd picks up as he calls an audible. Here's Mitchell. He's going to be close. I'm not sure he got it. Great penetration by the guys in maroon.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what they needed. In the first half, they didn't get enough of that. I think Bernard and Edwards and Clemens up front are doing a better job, at least in that series, of giving the linebackers a little room to make plays. This defense is set up for those linebackers to be the playmakers.
Franzen got there first. Jamison finished him off. And a nice stop by Texas A&M. Boy, you talk about a strange trip for Texas as well. I mean, we mentioned that Rod Babers had a seizure on the bus coming over to the stadium yesterday. He went to the hospital. Last night, Major Applewhite gets sick. He can't play today. Here's Stockton, and his punt is a low punt. Return to the 27-yard line. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Impala by Chevrolet. Let's go for a drive. By Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. Inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia, connecting people. And by Nicoderm CQ, the power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Partner, you're one of the few people around that calls it Nokia, and you're right. You know, we learned the good way, didn't we, down there at that bowl? But people call that Nokia. It's Nokia.
10:53 to play third quarter. We'll see if A&M can get something going offensively. McCown hit, and I mean driven back by Cedric Woodard. And again, I say Texas front four is the best group in the country.
Well, Woodard is a bull as well. He lines up at defensive end. They moved him out and moved Rogers in. So at end, watch him use his strength at about a 300-pounder. That's a great job of fending off the block there of Mahan and running down the defender.
You know what's interesting, partner, is that Rogers, the youngest guy on the front four, was playing so well. His improvement allowed Woodard to move to defensive end. Here's McCown again. Looks down. Oh, great defensive play in the secondary by Lee Jackson. Read the pass, closed quickly, and got his right hand on it to knock down a short completion.
Well, his hero is Steve Atwater. Remember the former Razorback? He made plays like this, and he does as well. Hodge will be the receiver. You either have to get it there quicker or come back to the football. You can't come back to that one. That ball has to be there quicker, but really a terrific defensive play as Jackson broke on it.
Meanwhile, the story on the Maroon side is Randy McCown. That was his 8th straight incomplete pass. Pressure comes. Now he throws incomplete, 9 in a row.
Yeah, Randy is, I believe now, 3 for 13. He is really struggling, and Texas A&M is trying to find some rhythm, but the rhythm they are finding is not working.
How much of his performance today is being drawn by the travails and the emotion of this past week? Because when we had that long talk with him yesterday, he was extremely emotional.
Well, Tim, I think emotion is huge in ball games, but I think a lot of the times it boils down to sheer execution. And at this point of the game, the defense for Texas is executing much better than the offense for A&M.
Is this ball touched? Recovered by A&M. We'll find out if it's touched. It was! Texas A&M football! Jason Webster with a recovery. And Mack Brown is livid.
Did Garcia touch this one?
Boy, I don't know.
Boy, it would have had to hit the shoulder pad because it didn't touch his hand.
It looked like the nose did hit the shoulder pad because the ball motion changed.
Mack disagreed. The crowd did a great job of jumping on top of that, and when the ball was rolling along the ground and the referee goes for it, that's a big, big play.
Wow. We'll need another look at that one. Here's Toombs. Look out. Toombs inside the 20. Take another look at it, Dean, and see if the ball motion doesn't change when it hits his shoulder pad. I don't know.
Doesn't seem to me. The official is right on the spot. We're using slow motion replay, but the official's much closer, and he had a better view of it. It did not appear to me that it did change the direction of the ball.
Jamar Toombs got a first down. It's first down Aggies. Here he is again. Toombs to the 15. DeAndre Lewis made the tackle, but the big guy is rolling.
One more look at this, and keep in mind that the reaction of the crowd at this point is euphoric. And if Garcia had indeed not touched the ball, he should have been emphatic as well. The reaction by him indicates that he actually did touch the ball.
Watch this. That looks like the ball changes to me. Here's the pitch back. Looking for help. Toombs to the 13. Jamar Toombs again, 265 pounds, all-conference team leader, tough runner, high school parade All-American.
Well, this is just another great opportunity after a big turnover, and A&M just has to capitalize on this. Their inability to drive, really to be successful making first downs or big plays has killed them today, but they really don't show the ability to have any chance of going 80 yards. So when you get a short field, you got to stick it in. 7 beats 3, 2.
Third down and 6. Keep in mind, McCown's missed his last 9 passes. Stumbles, throws underneath. This is Cole. He'll be close. Didn't make it. Ahmad Brooks made the tackle. He'll be a yard short. And the crowd obviously wants him to go for the first.
Well, he's down 10. You'd be down 7 if you don't. Tell you what, that was a terrific play by Ahmad Brooks at open field.
It looked like Cole stopped and then was surprised at how open he was.
This is a big gamble here.
Fourth down and a long one. He'll be close. I think he got it.
Yeah, I do too. And that is the reason for that, if he did get it, is because he is a big back. Sometimes that 265 comes in handy, particularly when you have a big one blocking for you up there as well.
I think Hardiman got it. He'll measure.
Well, he's a svelte 242.
He's short. Ooh. He is short. Texas stopped him.
A gamble on the scoreboard, and it was a gamble with emotion as well, because that was a play that would give A&M a lot of emotion and probable points, or go the other direction. Let's see it again. Great effort by Hardiman, but also terrific defense. Didn't get the mark. And Tim, I thought that for once A&M might elect to go outside to do something a little bit unusual, because they've been jamming it inside all day.
Well, the crowd once again comes to its feet. The ball is at the 7. And once again, it will be up to the wrecking crew to stop Mack Brown's Longhorns. Can the Aggies keep them backed up? Can the Horns get out of there? It's up to the freshman, Chris Sims. Pumps and looks deep. Throws into coverage and throws deep and incomplete.
Good defense, like the play call, and it's a good job by Sims because he had nothing there. And what you do when you have nothing there is you throw it to no one.
Well, he was looking in the direction of Montrell Flowers, who was the fastest of the Longhorns.
Keep in mind the last Texas punt was blocked.
On 2nd and 10. Brian Gamble and Roland Bradley made the tackle.
You know, Tim, the A&M defense came on strong at the end of the second quarter, and they've started pretty well here. So they have settled into a nice game plan and are not allowing Texas to do much. They've just got to have some help on the other side of the ball. They're also giving the offense a short field.
Well, this is the situation in 3rd and long. They love to run what they call 54 blood blue, where all 4 linebackers rush. Now they spread it. Texas needs 7 across the middle. Incomplete. Brandon Jennings knocked it loose.
The beginning of the 3rd quarter, the second half is starting the way the first half did. A lot of emotion with Texas A&M. Again, can they take advantage of that? That is much better defense, though. And Brandon Jennings, who has played well at free safety for these guys all season long, once again is in the right place at the right time.
Texas A&M blocked 1 in the first half. Ryan Long standing 4 yards deep in the end zone. Low spiraling punt. Taken by Taylor, who is just caught by a foot. But they'll be in Texas territory after a 38-yard punt.
This time of year seems like you just can't win. The shopping, the traffic, the weather. It's like this endless game. Good thing there's the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event because everyone wins. You can get huge cash back or low APR financing or great smart lease offers on these great Chevrolets. The cars and trucks you can depend on. So, don't roll the dice this holiday season. Get to the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's your turn to win.
If you're looking for a family adventure, National Car Rental knows the best place to go is the Walt Disney World Resort. You see, National gets you to all the exciting new rides and attractions fast. For a magical adventure your family will never forget. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go with National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Walt Disney World Resort. Let's go.
Sorry. Not enough. No, still short.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Paper or plastic? Paper.
Make it a Bud Light.
Guys, need a receipt?
A&M misses an opportunity for a big play here. Texas gets a low kickoff. You would think that Taylor would have a chance for a return. Watch 26. Great job. Probably have 15, 20 more yards if Dillon is not there. And he's a guy, Tim, who has had, 4 blocks this season?
Had 4 blocks. He's the special team star. He's had 18 tackles on punts like that. And he is the winner of the Special Teams Frank Denius Award. He's a former walk-on. He's a senior. And he made a big play there. Well, for the 3rd time, actually the 4th time, that Texas A&M has started in Texas territory. And the previous 3, they've come away with no points. We'll see what they do here. Second down, Aggies. McCown goes a timing pattern to Johnson, and Johnson makes a catch inside the 20. Bethel Johnson, blazing speed, soft hands, and amazing feet. A pickup of 30.
Sooner or later, Texas A&M felt it could get something out on the corner locked-in man coverage. Bethel Johnson is a guy they have great hopes for here, and this ball is perfectly thrown as he is a step behind his man, and he takes advantage of it. But this guy has a chance to be an outstanding receiver before he's done, because he did that against the #1 corner in Brooks for Texas. Almost 19 yards a snag for Bethel Johnson.
First down, Aggies. 3-step drop again. They go to the corner looking for their tight end, incomplete. Be second down and 10 for R.C. Slocum.
You've seen more of those go routes, those routes where you just say basically, and Texas looks at them and says, A&M's theory is you just get a guy and run him on a 40-yard dash and throw it down there. You see it more now in college football than ever before because of the schemes. Texas jumps, everybody jumps. We'll see who hits first. That's great. That was a great job by McCown, because I know he told you a couple of days ago that they were really working on changing their cadence just for that very reason, to try to get Texas off.
You look to the left hand of your screen. That's where I was looking. It looked like Texas jumped first. And it looked like Humphrey.
No, I think you're right. I think it's against Texas.
It is.
Now, the interesting thing that McCown did on this is that he didn't take a knee. I like what he does here. He knows it's his advantage, so he goes. He's got his center up in front. He says, Seth McKinney, go block someone. And sometimes you can make a big play off of that. This case, he doesn't make the 5 yards that they get with the penalty.
So we cut the distance in half. It's second down. The Aggies need 5. And Toombs inside the 10. Texas A&M trailing by 10, 5:15 remaining in the third period. Largest crowd in the history of Texas football on any level.
Third down conversion's a problem for A&M in this game.
Third down and a long two. Here's Toombs. Breaks a tackle inside the 5. Jamar Toombs. Touchdown Aggies. And Texas A&M behind Toombs' 9-yard run climbs back into this ball game.
Terrific job. Watch the right of your screen. It's Andy Vincent. He gets Humphrey not turned, but he has him long enough so that Toombs can get to the outside.
It's gone. Kitchens with the extra point, and it's good. So he splits the sticks. They add one more. It's a 3-point game with 4:47 to play in the third.
Okay, you're serious. You're quitting smoking and you're taking your best shot. Nicoderm CQ has that the store brand patch doesn't. CQ gives you 3 steps to gradually reduce your dose. Store brands don't. CQ lets both heavy and light smokers step down. Store brands don't. And only CQ has the method preferred by doctors. Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
5 things to consider about the Chevy Impala. It's new. It starts under $20,000. It's designed, engineered, and built to be carefree. It's at your Chevy dealer now. It's received the highest frontal crash rating possible. 5 stars from the federal government. The new Chevy Impala. As USA Today put it, it's a lot more car than you imagine, at a lower price than you expect. The new Chevy Impala.
Let's go for a drive.
We're on the road to number 1. America's biggest road show. National championship on ABC. The Nokia Super Bowl on ABC. Yeah! Woo! We're on the road to the Nokia Sugar Bowl. And nothing's gonna stop us. Look out!
Now what? There's an easier way to the national championship. Nokia's Road to Number 1 sweepstakes. Just buy any Nokia model phone in a specially marked box and you can win trips to the Nokia Sugar Bowl or thousands of other great prizes.
I'm not giving up shotgun.
Nokia. Connecting people.
Jamar Toombs' 9-yard touchdown run has excited the 86,128 here at Kyle Field. And the Aggies now trail by only 3. 4:47 to play in the third. And Texas A&M prepares to give it back to the Longhorns.
Finally took advantage of that short field. Crowd is right in the middle of this thing. And they got him a deep route. That didn't hurt.
Leckler, kick off. Ike and Mitchell are deep. And this one will go out of bounds. And again, the kicking game. Hurts the Aggies.
That's like a hook, hitting a 3-iron, dead hook.
Hey, partner, coming up next on ABC's College Football Doubleheader, Eric Krauts in number 3 Nebraska. They need a win, you know that, to clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game and keep that national championship alive. At least there are hopes. They take on Colorado. Who do you like?
Well, I like Nebraska. They're tough. They are tough. Gary Barnett's done a good job, and Colorado's playing much better, but Nebraska, Crouch is playing terrifically, and that defense is awesome.
Well, Nebraska knows what's on the line. So do the Hokies of Virginia Tech. That's coming up next on ABC Sports, the home of the Bowl Championship Series. First down, Texas. Mitchell with a gain of 3. Right now, let's go down to Chip Tarkington.
Well, Tim, we mentioned this earlier, that the start of the second half, the crowd began to get into the football game. The white hankies are beginning to come out. The crowd is getting louder. And on the sidelines, Texas A&M, no one is sitting up. They're up close watching the game, and everybody is into the football game now. The crowd is making a big difference at this point.
Hey, Chip, they say this place holds 85,000. This is supposed to be the largest crowd in Texas football history.
It is.
86-128 they squeezed in here. Where's everybody?
Hey, they're everywhere. I can't hardly move on the sidelines.
Second down for Sims. With pressure, throws a strike. And the Longhorns move the chains. Jamel Thompson.
That's a big completion because you know what? The first half is over with. Chris Sims, I've called him Phil Sims twice.
Okay.
No, twice.
I understand Phil's here today.
Well,
incognito somewhere among the 86 plus.
Well, maybe I keep seeing him. But speaking of Phil, he's handled it real well. He's not been a parent that's been imposing himself in the situation. But anyway, his son, the first half's done. He's got to come do it again.
He's been extremely impressive.
Yes, he has. And so was his father, Phil.
Chris, the number 1 recruit in the nation last year. True freshman. Just a youngster. Play action, great fake. Pressure, and he goes down. They just keep swarming this time. It's Franzen.
Offense is played with the mind in terms of execution. Defense is played with the heart. Watch Franzen come at him, and Edwards 96. All over the young guy, and Sims has to eat it.
They say half of playing defense is wanting to, and he wanted to get to Sims.
A&M's defense has stopped Texas on its last 5 drives.
Second down and long. The pressure comes, almost picked off. Oh, what a dangerous pass. Jason Webster got a hand on it first.
That's the first major mistake I've seen from Sims, and Texas A&M missed an opportunity there to pick that one off.
And the momentum is starting to swing.
It has swung. Sims gets pressure from the right. You've got to expect it on this type of play. The line going out to help in the short screen, the under screen.
Deafening in here. Third and 15. Sims sacked again. Rocky Bernard.
The biggest difference from playing high school to college is not as much the size, but the speed of the game. Watch Sims. I think he feels the pressure and thinks that in high school you can dart through that hole, no problem. In college, they're not only bigger and meaner, but they're faster than you.
The Wrecking Crew gets its 6th sack of the afternoon. And have to punt. Plenty of time for Ryan Long. Gets off a very good low kick. Johnson takes it and fumbles it. And A&M gets it back. Oh, my.
Oh, the Aggies are fortunate here. The punting game has been adventurous. Jason Webster is wondering right there for about a half second. His heart is up in his throat, isn't it? A 48-yard
punt, a 10-yard return, and a lifetime waiting for that ball to end in an Aggie hand. Hey, near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And beginning this year, Chevrolet also donates 2 $1,000 high school scholarships. Big hole, Toombs.
This isn't the same team that finished the first half not being able to do anything on offense. They're opening up holes. The execution is wonderful, and they're doing this without really a tight end game. When they lost Michael De La Torre to back in mid-season, and Broughton and Kozerski are nice players, but that's not a strong position for them.
Second down and short. Here's Toombs again. He's got the first down. Keep in mind that during the 90s, Texas A&M has lost only 4 games here at Kyle Field the entire decade. 54-4-1 is their record.
It is a major challenge for Texas right now, and number 11 looks like he's ready to re-enter. Now, the word we got on this was that before the game that he was throwing up. They were pumping Major Applewhite full of fluids because of the stomach virus. He had a slight temperature, so they go with Sims. Sims does well. Texas A&M comes back, but they did tell us that they thought Major Applewhite might be able to play on a limited basis.
In an emergency.
It is an emergency.
I think it has gotten to that point. First down A&M. Toombs again. Nothing. Great penetration by DeAndre Lewis. Reminder coming up tomorrow. We'll go to golf. Spain's El Nino. Sergio Garcia. Boy, what an exciting young player. He competes in his first Skins game. He joins Marco Mira, Freddie Couples, and David Duval in one of America's favorite Thanksgiving traditions, the Skins game, a feast on the green for the green, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on ABC Sports. That should be fun.
Looks like he's coming.
Second down and 11. Toombs breaks one. Gets back across the original line of scrimmage and picks up 2 more.
That is outstanding running right there. Watch Toombs break through the first line of defenders. Texas realizing that it needs to get into the backfield to slow the big train down, but he runs through those tackles. He gets about 6 extra yards.
But as impressive as that is, they're still unable to pass.
Yeah, they've not
They're really handcuffed.
What Texas A&M has done in the passing game is they've basically gotten to where their passing game is, hey, you go long. We got one-on-one, and we'll throw it up and try to get it.
Well, that's the end of the third period. Texas 16, A&M 13. ABC Sports presentation of college football. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Are you an athlete if you only play for bragging rights? What if your team is now your family? Are you an athlete if your toughest competition is yourself? Or if you inherit your uniform? What if you don't play sports at all anymore? Are you an athlete? Always. Russell Athletic for the long run.
AT&T, 7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Take one of these. That'll be 25 cents.
But it says here it's a nickel.
Not for a couple of hours.
What?
Well, see, sometimes it's a nickel, but right now, it's a quarter.
It's like that long-distance nickel plan where they say it's a nickel.
Sometimes they charge you 25.
That's right.
That's where we got the idea.
Is that right?
7 cents a minute, all day, every day, even to Canada with our international plan.
You know, there are some stores that sell candy for one low price all day long.
And people like it?
Oh, they love it.
Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
We must stop the violence in our schools and in our homes. Here's Ed McCaffrey of the Denver Broncos.
We know that we need a united effort as parents, teachers, neighbors, and volunteers to make our lives safer.
Now there is hope. The United Way.
The NFL, the United Way, and you.
The power of teamwork.
ABC Wednesday, a wedding with family, friends, and a blushing bride.
You mean I'll kiss the bride?
For God's sakes, cut it out! All new Drew. Then, Norm's in debt, and it's getting deeper.
What do you say we flip for it, huh? Double or nothing? Heads. Heads. Okay, I owe you $20,000.
Norm right after Drew. See you Wednesday on ABC. Performance, comfort, and extraordinary value. Everything falls into place with Nissan's new option packages, like on the new 2000 Nissan Altima, which offers up to $1,000 in package savings on some of the most sought-after features, including CD audio system, remote keyless entry, cruise control, and more. Or choose the new Pathfinder with package savings on features like power sliding glass sunroof, 6-speaker Bose audio system, and more. Everything's falling into one place. Your local Nissan dealer. Nissan. Driven.
Rosie prepares to meet her idol. Next, Rosie.
Ready to start the final 15 at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, and this whole stadium is rocking. Get seasick standing in here. Right now the momentum belongs to the Aggies, but they're faced with 3rd down and 9, and McCown hasn't been sharp. He is here. He's got the completion. Move the chains.
Randy McCown has not been as sharp as he would like for much of the game, but this is as good as it gets. He's throwing left, he's throwing off his back foot, he's under pressure, and he delivers a strike.
He's Hodge with the catch in the 1st down. A gain of 24. And now it's the Texas defense that has to bow its back. Toombs. Inside the 40 to the 37, Shaun Rogers, and what a talent he is. Rogers made the tackle. He's 6'4", 315. 6 sacks, 22 tackles for losses, 23 quarterback hurries, and that stop there on the big guy, Toombs. Second down and 5. Again, we'll see who flinched first. Flags fly everywhere, and again, McCown runs it and tries to get a big play out of it.
That's a result of a lot of game study, a lot of tape study these kids put in. McCown knew that. Cragthorpe, the coordinator, knew that. They had chances to get offsides calls, and 5 yards against the Texas defense is sometimes pretty hard to get. Tim, we're going to look at it again. Instead of going to the knee, watch him. He'll try to pick up some extra yardage. Now, Texas is alert. Hampton and company don't let them pick up the yardage. Occasionally, you'll have a defense lapse off, though. They will know that they are the guilty party, and Steve Cragthorpe has instructed his quarterback to try to take advantage of that.
He'll pick up 5 any way he can. It was Hampton that jumped, and as good as he is, he's their leading tackler, tried to anticipate the count and got caught. Hardiman's got a 1st down. Again, it's Hampton that made the tackle. Hey, partner, take a look at the Applebee's game fact. Other than the Texas and Texas A&M rivalry, the most played rivalries are, did you have it, Minnesota-Wisconsin?
I didn't know the top one. I knew the Missouri-Kansas one was.
I thought the only guy that knew that was our producer, Bruce Clark.
Yeah, you know, that scene up in Wisconsin was fabulous a couple of weeks ago when Dane set the mark. Madison was rocking the way it is here in College Station today.
1st down, Aggies, nowhere to run for Toombs. And he's run out of bounds at the 25. Even where there's not a hole, he seems to find yardage, a pickup of 3.
Was that 3rd quarter as fast to you as it was to me?
This game has been as fast as I've seen all year. But this game is unlike any other, certainly unlike any that's preceded in this rivalry, with the tragedy that occurred 8 days ago and all the emotion that came into this ball game with everybody here at Kyle Field. So Toombs is over 100 yards. And it's 2nd down and long for the Aggies. Ball's loose. Texas has got it. Lee Jackson saw it. Nobody else did. He makes the recovery, and Texas gets the ball back.
Errors will just drive you crazy. Unforced errors will do more than that to you. They'll get you beat. This is it's hard to tell. I always blame it on the center because I was the guy taking snaps. But Seth McKinney snapped it.
But what a tragedy. McCown has struggled all day. Aggies were down at least in field goal range to tie the game, and they turn it over, and look who just made an appearance. Major Applewhite. He set a UT freshman record for passing yards, total yards, touchdown. He's improved in all those as a sophomore, and he comes out and throws a strike to Flowers. Let's go downstairs. Here's Chip.
Hey, let me tell you something, guys. Major Applewhite was warming up over here, throwing the football, taking snaps, and you could just see it in his eyes. This young man was going to come back and take over this football team. He knew that they needed him right now. You saw the first pass as a strike. I'm telling you what, he sees it. He's got the eye of the tiger right now.
Over 3,000 passing yards. He's breaking all the Texas records. Second down and 4. He's coming on the blitz. Texas beats him and picks up 2.
What Major does, though, is that it opens up the running game. He and Kwame Cavill get it going. It's sort of like Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin were back in their heyday. Scouting reports can go on for the strengths. Extremely accurate. That's the most important thing for a quarterback, and he's involved into a tough leader. He's not the fastest guy, but I think that second one right now is what Matt Brown wants to play off of. He is the leader of this Texas team unequivocally.
With him at the helm, this is a quick strike attack. But right now, behind that great big offensive line, they would be best to melt the clock. Get a long drive. Audible. Applewhite, broken play, looks for help, and throws it away.
Let's keep in mind, I think too many times we sit at home and think that sick players can just come out and play and it's no big deal. They're easy, come from behind stories. That's not the case. This guy feels terrible.
But that was a mental lapse. Could be because of the illness, delay of game. He took too much time. So they move him back. And it'll bring up third down and long.
Major Applewhite, as he's struggling to get the play call in here right now, typically they like to get him out of the huddle at 17 seconds on the play clock, and actually that's about where they are right now.
Third down, they need 7.
His stamina, though, is where I was going. That's a key issue.
The Aggies show blitz. They come with it. He throws another strike, and the ball is dropped by Thompson. Oh, my. That ball was perfect and hit Thompson between the 1 and the 2.
That was a terrific job by 10 players on Texas's offense. The offensive line, the backs, great blitz pickup, and the three-quarter delivery from Major Applewhite was all he could get in there without it being batted down, but Jamel Thompson showing his tendencies to either be good or bad. That play, we'll say, was not good.
Longhorns don't move the chains, and so they come on to punt. Ryan Long with another spiraling punt that takes Taylor back to the 33. And again, Texas A&M will have good field position at the 45. 42-yard punt, 12-yard return.
I am a Pokemon master. I've captured over 150 types of monsters. I've come prepared to do battle with Pikachu, Mewtwo, Bulbasaur.
Burger King is a mile down the road on the right.
Thanks, mister.
Must be Tuesday. Yep.
Every Tuesday night is Pokemon Trading Night. Bring your kids in for a tasty Burger King Big Kids Meal dinner and let them trade their cards and toys. It makes a parent's life a little easier. Not to mention at Pokemon Traders. Pokemon and the Burger King Big Kids Meal. Come and catch them all.
What do you do while your battery's charging? Well, now, you could just keep working. Because Skill just created the dual source power system. The first cordless tools with a corded backup. So you can finish what you start. Which is a much more satisfying use of time. Dual source. Only from Skill.
Choose your mini
minivan. From the most luxurious Chrysler Town & Country Limited to America's lowest priced Voyager, you'll find it all in a Chrysler or Plymouth minivan. Maybe that's why Voyager won a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 10 years in a row. And maybe that's why more people choose from our family of minivans than any other.
Now where are we going? Husker Power! Sounds like Nebraska, Colorado!
Eric Crouch and the Huskers are in the national title hunt.
To this point, it's been everything we expected. A 3-point game with 11:36 to play. Texas and Texas A&M. And the Aggies have good field position. But Toombs is closed down in a hurry. Hey, reminder coming up tomorrow night in the primetime college football matchup. Don't miss Rose Bowl bound number 25 Stanford. If you have not seen wide receiver Troy Walters, you're in for a treat. They take on Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. That's tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series. What do you like?
That little guy can play. You know, I kind of like Stanford. They've got a lot more to play for at this point.
Second down, they need 10. McCown, incomplete. Boy, he has struggled today. He had Taylor out there open and just didn't hit him.
Well, he did, Tim, but I'm going to say that he had number 23, Lee Jackson, on a safety blitz. Watch the guy in the white jersey come darting to the screen right there. He is in the lane between McCown and the receiver. And that was a terrific blitz job by Lee Jackson, who was shot out of a cannon.
Well, I know a quarterback wants to defend the quarterback, but the bottom line is he's 6 of 19.
No, I get you. I'm just saying on that play, it's not as easy as it looks.
19 passes. That was 3 games for you at Oklahoma.
That's a career.
Here's McCown again. This time he throws incomplete again for Taylor. Taylor wanted a flag. There is none. Hill on the coverage, and it was solid.
Locked in man on the corner. Number 1 wins this battle, as that's a pretty well thrown football. A&M has gotten the matchups that it's wanted. They just haven't been able to take advantage of them very often. This is when your punter really comes in handy. He's 55 yards away from the goal line, and I guarantee you he'll pop it inside the 20.
Well, in the 6 punts today, he's averaged just over 42 yards. That's under his average, but he gets a hold of this one. This is a high tail wagger that hits inside the 10 and is downed at the 3.
Great kick, great job of coverage. Number 39, he plays like a goalie. That's what you do. You get down there by the end line and play like a goalie. Keep the ball out.
People are beginning to think of the automobile not just as a family vehicle, but as a personal and individual means of transportation. The throb of a powerful engine. Now for a moment, imagine yourself as driver of this automobile. You really have to drive it. At the Chrysler Proving Ground, give them an expressway, and the drivers I think we made the scenic back roads fun to drive. I'll give them any country or suburban road, rough or smooth. You're the type of people who like the feel of a flying machine. Love to drive. The renowned engineers of Chrysler. A minimum of ornamentation and a minimum of chrome moldings. He's a regular firecracker. The sounds of nature sing their prettiest over the rich, throaty obligato of his engine.
Even sheet metal can have a soul.
And they give you back the romance of driving.
And that is why these will never land on an ordinary car.
And you find out what exceptional unity of man and machine has been achieved.
Some people you could always count on to be there for you. We were there when you fixed up your first car. And when you fixed up your first apartment. We were even there when you finally got fixed up yourself. So now that you're fixing more bottles than old cars, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
You're looking at the stands in the brand new end zone. They call it the zone. They paid like $37 million for it, and this is why. It's the loud end of the stadium, and that's what Major Appleby is up against. First down, and Applewhite hands off, and there's a flag down. Major Applewhite has to be just trying to keep a clear head and a calm stomach right now.
Especially the latter there. This is when the crowd becomes such a factor. That's half the distance to the goal on Texas. And clearly, if this game is played in Austin or in Dallas, that doesn't happen. But it backed up in the end zone, as you so aptly described. It is a very hostile and difficult place to play and to communicate.
Well, R.C. Slocum said Major Applewhite, if he looked different, was a little bit bigger, everybody in the country would be saying he's the best quarterback there is in the land. Says he looks young and he looks small, but he can get it done. We'll see here. Hodges-Mitchell gets some good yardage where they can breathe out to the 8.
That's always a dangerous play to fans. And I think it is to a quarterback when you go deep in the backfield. Sure, you're supposed to block up front, and that's a better chance for you to bust a big play than a quarterback sneak getting it out of your end zone. But the point is, you are in the end zone. If a lineman busts on a blitz, you're going to give up possibly a safety or a fumble and lead to a touchdown.
This is a team that doesn't panic, though. They've come from behind in 3 of the last 5 games. Here they've got the lead. They're just backed up. 2nd down and short. Mitchell again to the 10. He's met there by Lonnie Madison.
Yeah, you're talking about Applewhite. You know, he was gone from Opie to Iceman. Iceman is what his very good friend Kwame Cavill calls him, because he says he is never iced. He can play in any situation. We'll find out. He's been in some tough ones and produced, and he's in another one right now.
Really impressed with him yesterday. We were visiting with him down on the field. Boy, is he in control of things. Here he is, Major Applewhite. 3rd down and 2. Hodges-Mitchell breaks a tackle. He's not going to get there. The wrecking crew closes in and makes the tackle.
That's a great job for obvious reasons, including now the punt is forced from the end zone. And let's look back at earlier in the game when Texas, in a better situation with this, gave up a block. And now the pressure will be coming full force.
But you know what? I think I'd set up the return here, partner. I'll tell you why. Because you'll be standing here inside the 50 in Texas territory, and all you need is a field goal to tie. You just want this good field position. They're coming. Here they come. Here's Taylor. That again, he's taken down by Dillon, who is just a spectacular special teams player. 37-yard punt, no return.
It seems that the first rule of business today is to be an e-business. The second rule is to work with a company who pioneered the direct way of using the internet as a business tool. Dell built their business around this direct model, which made them a forerunner in e-business. They provided the equipment we needed to use the internet to establish one-to-one relationships with our customers. With Dell's help, we're breaking down the walls between our ideas and reality.
Be direct. Dell. Dell workstations use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Volunteer to be a big brother or a big sister and share special moments like this. Join Valvoline and Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. For more information, call 1-800-TEAM-VAL.
Chrysler Concorde, 4-wheel independent suspension, and a powerful V6.
I didn't know Davis could move like that. I told him to think of himself as something powerful and agile. Wonder what he was thinking.
Buy now and choose 0.9% APR or $1,000 cash allowance.
Sergio Garcia gives an American tradition some Spanish flair. He joins Duval couples in O'Meara for the Skins game, Saturday at 4:30 on ABC.
Final 8 minutes and 29 seconds from Kyle Field, and Texas A&M is in Longhorn territory. 1st down, Aggies. Hodge in motion. They give to Toombs. Well, coming up Sunday on ESPN and NFC West battle, Steve Berline and the Panthers take on the Falcons. So it's Atlanta at Carolina. Then on Monday Night Football here on ABC, Brett Favre and the Packers. Boy, they are trying to stay in the playoff picture as they face the 49ers. Green Bay at San Francisco. The 30th anniversary season of Monday Night Football continues live Monday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, right here on ABC Sports. Toombs again. Cover! Battles his way down to the 41. Aaron Humphrey with another tackle.
A&M doing a good job, though, a better job in the second half of getting hat on hat. Texas has 9 men on the line of scrimmage. They have 2 safeties back that are supporting in the run game as well. But the only way you can compete with 9 men on the line of scrimmage is to make sure your guys get a hat on a hat.
Well, the Longhorns under Mack Brown have adopted an aggressive upfield pressure defense. They need that here. 3rd down and 3. They make the stop. Toombs does not get to the yardage needed.
All right, this is 4th and short.
Lewis and Rawls come up. Make the stop, partner. He's going to be what? About a foot short?
You know, these gambles get bigger. We'll watch the blocking up front. And if he could have only made another yard, they wouldn't be in this predicament. But R.C. Slocum wants to think about it.
You know, I don't think he got a very favorable mark. It'll be 4th down and less than a yard when we come back.
Your web page will even make you feel differently according to how it is positioned. For example, here, the yin is strong, coolness, peace. Whereas over here, the yang is there, powerful, hot. And now up here, the computer's just happy.
Who designs your website is up to you. Hooking it up and delivering the goods, leave that up to us.
You'll ship everything. FedEx.
FedEx, be absolutely sure.
Now, get the biggest enlistment bonus the Army has ever offered. As much as $20,000. Plus up to $50,000 to pay for college. For your future, for your country's future. Call today. 1-800-USA-ARMY.
The luxurious Jeep Grand Cherokee with QuadraDrive, our most advanced 4-wheel drive system ever. You can travel to the world's most exotic places. So there's no limit to what you might come across.
I need a vacation.